It's 6 o'clock. I'm Simon Oxley. The headlines: murder investigation after woman's body found in Buckinghamshire lay-by, mother's hunt for abducted son, and Muslim community condemns plans for Luton March.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Police in Buckinghamshire have launched a murder investigation after a woman's body was found in a lay-by in Gerrards Cross. The discovery was made just after 8:30 yesterday morning by a passing motorist in the lay-by on the A413 Amersham Road, which remained closed for most of the day. Thames Valley Police say a 50-year-old man from Hayes in Middlesex has been arrested on suspicion of murder. The body of the woman has yet to be identified. A post-mortem examination is due to take place today. Her mother is appealing for help to find her 6-year-old son after her husband abducted him without warning 6 months ago. Lawyers are seeking any information about the whereabouts of youngster Manny Dad and his father Zane Dean, who has links to Bedford. Manny had been living in Poland with his mother Paulina. She told Three Counties Radio about the moment she realised her son had been taken.
He didn't answer the phone because I was all night trying to ring him. I checked my email and it said, I'm sorry, I know I swore on my mother's grave I would never take money away, but we are now on the way to Germany and we're going to get the documents and we're going to fly to UK.
Ferry and Eurotunnel train services between Britain and France have resumed after a strike and blockade of the port of Calais by French ferry workers caused widespread disruption. Drivers were advised to lock their doors after migrants tried to climb into lorries backed up along the motorway. Today, the government here will announce that a new task force is to be set up to help tackle organised trafficking in the Mediterranean. Luton's Muslim community held an emergency meeting last night to discuss plans for a march by the far-right group Britain First on Saturday. Bedfordshire Police have imposed restrictions on the march and are looking to extend these with a High Court injunction on Friday. Dr Fiaz Hussain from the Luton Council of Mosques says the group is not welcome.
Everybody is against it. They feel that it paints the wrong picture of the town. It's a wonderful town with some wonderful people and wonderful communities. Everybody's gelling together on this. We work together, we play together and we live together, and we really just want to be left alone. And there's no need for anybody to come and disturb that peace.
3 people were taken to hospital after a fire in Buckingham yesterday afternoon. The blaze in Ryland involved a van, a car and 3 motorbikes, with one of the motorbike petrol tanks exploding. A woman was rescued by firefighters from a second-floor flat. Another woman suffering from shock and 2 men suffering from burns were taken to hospital. A robber who escaped from an open prison in Buckinghamshire has had his sentence increased by 6 months. 30-year-old Ross Underwood was on the run from Spring Hill Prison for a week last month. It was the second time he'd absconded from an open prison. In sport, England's cricketers beat New Zealand by 56 runs in the one-off 2020 International at Old Trafford last night. The weather, a mixture of cloud with some sunny spells, but feeling warm, a maximum temperature 22 degrees Celsius. And you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
Backstroke lover always hiding under the covers till we talk to your daddy, he say you ain't seen nothing till you down on a muffin and you sure to be changing your way. I met a cheerleader, was a real young bleeder, all the times I can reminisce. Cause the best things of loving with her sister and her cousin only started with a little kiss like this. Seesaw swinging with the boys in the school when your feet flying up in the air. Sing your hey diddy diddy with your kitty in the middle and you swing like you didn't care. So I took a big chance at the high school dance with a missy who was ready to play. It wasn't me she was fooling cause she knew what she was doing when she told me how to walk this way. She told me to walk this way, walk this way, walk this way, walk this way. She told me to walk this way, walk this way. She told me to walk this way, walk this way. Just give me a kiss. Like this. sweetie with a classic kind of sassy little skirt climbing way up her knee. There was 3 young ladies in the school gym locker when I noticed they was looking at me. I was a high school loser, never made it with a lady till the boys told me something I missed. And then my next door neighbor with her daughter had a favorite, gave her just a little kiss like this. Seesaw swinging with the boys in the school and your feet flying up in the air. Sing your hey diddle diddle with your kitty in the middle and you swing like you didn't care. So I took a big chance at the high school dance with a missy who was ready to play. It wasn't me she was fooling cause she knew what she was doing when she told me how to walk this way. She told me to walk this way, talk this way, walk this way. Talk this way, she told me to walk this way, talk this way. She said walk this way, talk this way, just give me a kiss. All like
Morning, guys. A little bit of Hayseed Dixie, huh? Why the hell not? It's going to be one of those shows, I think. Busy show this morning, busy show. The questions remain the same all week. Ever died? Hot places? Ever operated on yourself? And anything else you can come up with. We're going to speak to Cass Elliott's daughter later on in the show. I say speak to her, we're going to play a recording of us speaking to her about an hour ago. That's a treat. I want other bits and pieces. I don't know. As always, you can call in about the stuff we're talking about or about any bits and pieces you fancy. 03459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Right, let's crack on. A Polish woman believes her estranged husband has abducted her son and may have brought him to Bedfordshire. Paulina Dad has been searching for the pair since they went missing 6 months ago. Her ex, Zane Dean, has links to Bedford. Well, Catherine Rez Pritchard is Paulina's solicitor and joins me now. Morning, Catherine.
Morning, Ian.
What more can you tell us about this case?
Well, what I can tell you about this case is that, first of all, yes, as you said, Paulina's son, Manny, has been missing from Poland now, where he was living with Paulina for 6 months. He's been taken from Poland by his father, Zane Dean, who also goes by the name of Doltana Dad, and Paulina is, of course, desperate to find out where he is. She has no idea where they're living. She has no idea what sort of conditions they're living in, and she's very upset and very distressed about the situation.
Why Bedford? What's the connection with Bedford?
We know that Zane Dean has family living in the Bedford area, so we know that he does have a significant connection to that area.
But you don't know for do you know for sure that he's even in this country, or is it as vague as you kind of just think he is?
Well, we can't be certain. He has certainly indicated to Paulina when he took Manny from Poland that he was heading with Manny to the UK. And given that he has a strong family connection in this country, this is where we do think he has gone.
How old is Manny?
Manny's only 6 years old. In fact, he turned 7, I think, on the 7th of July, so he's very, very young.
His mum must be distraught.
She is. She's absolutely beside herself. She's incredibly upset, understandably so.
And she's had no contact with her son at all?
She's been able to speak to him a handful of times on the telephone, but she hasn't been able to see him. She doesn't know where he is. So literally just a few
limited conversations.
Now, there's the Polish police aren't taking this that seriously. Is that right?
It
gets complicated, doesn't it?
It is complicated, and whilst parental child abduction is a criminal offence in this country, it's not a criminal offence in every country. So what Paulina did very soon after Manny was taken from Poland is she contacted us. She contacted Dawson Cornwell. We are a firm who specialise in international child abduction. And she contacted us to see what civil remedies were available to her. So we immediately commenced proceedings under the terms of the 1980 Hague Convention on the civil aspects of international child abduction. In a nutshell, the purpose of that convention is to ensure that children are returned very quickly to their country of habitual residence. By habitual residence, I mean their home country, so in this case, Poland. And Poland, obviously, is a signatory to that convention, as is the UK.
How is she coping from day to day?
I think she's finding it very difficult from day to day.
I miss my boys if I'm away, for a couple of weeks for work, and I don't, and I can speak to them on the phone freely. But 6 months the child's been gone.
Well, yes, absolutely. He's been gone for 6 months now, and it is, of course, very difficult for Paulina. She misses him every day, and we're hoping by the publicising of this case that it will resonate with people out there, with parents, with everyone out there, with anyone who might have any information about the potential whereabouts of Manny, the potential whereabouts of Zayn Dean, who also goes by Doltana Dad, that they will come forward and share any information they may have about their whereabouts.
Supposing someone says, oh, hang on, that sounds like the fellow that's living next door, or supposing someone has some information, where should they go?
Well, exactly. If anybody has any information about this case, they can come to us, to Dawson Cornwell. They could go to the police. If they happen to read it in a publication, I suppose they could go to them. I don't know whether they can contact you.
They can contact us, of course, and we'll certainly push them in the right direction and put them in touch with you. Catherine, let's keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah, and thank you so much for talking to me today. And
well, thank you for getting up at a really silly time in the morning to talk to us. It's appreciated. Thank you very much indeed. That's Catherine Rez Pritchard, who is Pauline's solicitor. Oh, I miss my boy. I do miss my boys if I'm away for a week or something. Didn't miss them last night when they somehow I ended up with all my boys, all of them, both my boys in bed last night. It was like a slumber party.
Yeah, but I bet you had the smallest part of the bed.
Of course I did. Well, I had one wouldn't go to sleep, and I was trying to work in bed. And I said, "Oh, just come and get in bed with me and just sit still."
It seems like the easy option at the time. It never is it?
Of course, when I said just sit still, all he wanted to do was play the clip of Justin going, "Where's me Woody?" Because they find that hilarious. And then we fell asleep. And then about 11, I woke up and the youngest one is stood by the bed going, "Oh, Daddy!" I was going, "Go to your mother's room. Go to your mother's room." "Daddy!" I said, "Just get in and button it, sunshine." And then he's climbing on me, and then the other one woke up. "Get off me!" Oh, flippin' heck. Anyway, what the point I'm trying to make is I do miss them terribly if I'm away for a couple of days. Awful situation.
Must be horrible.
For that mum. 03459 455 555. Now, come on, listeners. You've been a bit slack on the phone calls the last couple of days. I don't know what's going on there. I just feel I'm doing a lot of work and they ain't giving much back. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
They're lazy. They're just plain lazy.
They are very, very lazy. I'm off this evening. I'm going home for a sleep today, and then this evening I'm going to see the new film about Brian Wilson in That There London, Love and Mercy. And Brian Wilson, Brian Wilson was playing from the Beach Boys, of course. Let's dig out an obscure Beach Boys song, shall we, in a moment? Yes. Was playing like he booked a tour in September in the UK, playing like the O2, playing big arenas. And I've just read on his Facebook page, due to the success of this film in America, Brian's cancelled his UK tour.
Yeah, it's because of that.
Yeah, because when you have a successful film, and it's kind of self-perpetuating, you can't go on tour to venues that you booked that are too big.
He knows that he doesn't have to act the film out live every time it's played, doesn't he?
He probably doesn't. Bless him. The venues were too big. I hadn't bought a ticket to see Brian Wilson because the venue was too big. What does that tell you guys? You chanced your arm. Well, he had bad advice. Bad advice.
Not for the first time.
Not for the first time. 03459 4555 55 is the telephone number.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Sammy, you there, Sammy? Anyone? Guys? Sammy, you there? Guys? Anyone? Guys? Anyone? Guys?
Sorry.
Hello?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, there was Kylie Minogue blasting in my headphones.
There was a what blasting? An ogre?
Kylie Minogue.
Kylie Minogue was blasting in your headphones? Did they legalise LSD at the travel centre? What on earth are you on about, you Luna? Kylie Minogue? Are you insane?
Yeah, it was really weird, but it was coming down your line.
You are.
So,
it's coming. You're coming. You better be coming down, young lady, because we'll have no more of your hijinks. Get on with the travel, Sammy.
Okay. In Gerrards Cross, Amersham Road has been closed. Has been closed northbound because of a police incident between Oxford Road and Kingsway. And on the A404 Marler Hill, a reminder that there's roadworks there in High Wycombe at the junction for Wordsworth Road. In Dunstable, it's looking quiet so far on Church Street. There's temporary traffic lights though at the High Street, which could cause some problems later on. And on the train departure boards, the 6:14 service from Bedford to Sutton that calls at Luton at 6:34 is delayed. Samantha Breath, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much. There's a weird echo in the studio all of a sudden. What the hell is going on here, guys? Right, it is 6:16. It's Wednesday the 24th of June. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Police in Buckinghamshire have launched a murder investigation after a woman's body was found in a lay-by in Gerrards Cross. A mother is appealing for help to find her 6-year-old son after her husband abducted him without warning 6 months ago. The boy's father has family links to Bedford. And ferry and Eurotunnel services between Britain and France have resumed after yesterday's strike, which saw migrants trying to climb into lorries backed up along the motorway.
Nick Coffer on BBC Three Counties Radio.
The book is all about how you can use nature to make walking a detective game. There's no cost to spending 10 minutes looking at all this stuff. 3 mums from Hertfordshire have got something a little bit different planned. This weekend they're walking the 100 kilometres.
We've done lots of training and we're aiming to complete it within 24 hours.
Nick Coffer.
Is that a maze in front of your house?
It's called a parterre.
Oh, it's a parterre, is it?
I planted it myself with 540 plants, so I know it's a parterre.
Award-winning Milton Keynes sports journalist Mike Calvin has written Gareth Thomas's autobiography.
I've got to think what you think, I've got to see what you see, I've got to hear what you hear, and that will be an inherently painful process.
Nick Coffer, weekdays from 12 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
I have built a tree house. I have built a tree house. Nobody can see us. It's a you and me house. I have built a tree house. I have built a tree house. Nobody can see us, 'cause it's a you and me house. Been climbing rocks and stones, been collecting broken bones. I've been swimming across the lakes just to find this perfect place. I got lost into the woods. I've been covered up in mud. I've been going through a lot just to find this perfect spot. I have built a tree house. I have built a tree house. Nobody can see us. It's a you and me house. I have built a tree house. I have built a tree house. Nobody can see us, 'cause it's a you and me house. I've been climbing rocks and stones, been collecting broken bones. I've been swimming across the lakes just to find this perfect place. I got lost into the woods. I've been covered up in mud. I've been going through a lot just to find this perfect spot. I have built a tree house. I have built a tree house. Nobody can see us. It's a you and me house. I have built a tree house. I have built a tree house. Nobody can see us, 'cause it's a you and me house. I have built a tree house. I have built a tree house. Nobody can see us, 'cause it's a you and me house. A tree house, nobody can see us, 'cause it's a you and me house. I have built a tree house. I have built a tree house. Nobody can see us, 'cause it's a you and me house. I have built a tree house. I have built a tree house. Nobody can see us, 'cause it's a you and me house. I have built a tree house. I have built a tree house. Nobody can see us, 'cause it's a you and me house. I have built a tree house. I have built a tree house. Nobody can see us, 'cause it's a you and me house.
Morning, guys. Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio, that's the one. Oh, man alive. Let's just talk slowly, Catherine, because, maybe the computer will reboot itself. I don't know. Now, a prisoner who went on the run from Spring Hill in Buckinghamshire has been given an extended sentence for his trouble. Sound weird to you in your ears?
No.
There's an echo going on. Great work, guys. There's an echo going on. Ross Underwood walked out of the open prison last month while serving time for robbery. It was the second time he's done a runner. The first was to settle an argument with his girlfriend. Catherine, you've got more on this. What do we know?
Yeah, Ross Underwood was serving a 7-year sentence for robbery at Spring Hill, which is an open prison in Grendon Underwood. On the 24th of May, he walked out of the prison, was found a week later at a flat in Northamptonshire. Now, we've spoken to his solicitor, but he says he can't go into the specific circumstances of why he left, but he felt he had no alternative. Now, what I've read in the newspaper reports of the trial was that he said he was being targeted by a gang inside. He was initially placed in Woodhill, then transferred to Peterborough before being put at Spring Hill. This was the second time he'd left an open prison, as you said. Underwood was in court this week and sentenced to an extra 6 months for what he'd done.
How does Spring Hill work?
Well, it's a Category D open prison, which is designed to prepare prisoners for release. It offers a resettlement regime where prisoners are prepared to go back and live in society. Now, the main purpose is to deal with long-term inmates who are nearing the end of their sentence, but it will also take prisoners on shorter sentences. A former inmate at Grendon, which is on the same site as Spring Hill, has told us that overcrowding in prison is leading to the wrong sort of offenders being placed in these open prisons.
And the Ministry of Justice, what have they had to say?
We did want to talk to them this morning. They've sent us a statement. They say the number of prisoners who abscond is at a record low, and those who do will no longer be able to return to open conditions. And then they give us a whole list of stats.
Oh, forget their stats. Boring. How open is open these days? Can you just? I mean, is it just like being in a village?
I think so. We're going to be speaking later on to someone who's served time in an open prison, so they'll be able to tell us more about that one. But yeah, I mean, they're given obviously more liberty than they would be in a regular prison.
Okay.
And sometimes they abuse it.
Oh, this blooming system has completely gone to... Can Can you hear the Bee Gees?
Can you hear something really quiet?
Right, what is going on in this blooming computer? Let's try this one. Guys, anyone?
There it is.
Right, okay.
Touch me in the pouring rain, and the moment that you wander far from me, I wanna feel you in my arms again. And you come to me on a summer breeze, keep me warm in your love, then you softly leave, and it's me you need to show. How deep is your love? Is your love? Savior when I fall, and you may not think I care for you when you know down inside that I really do. And it's me you need to show. How deep is your love? Is your love? How deep is your love? I really mean to learn, 'cause we're living in a world of breaking us down when they all should let us be. We belong to you and me. Na 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 na. Can you come to me on a summer breeze, keep me warm in your love, then you softly leave, and it's me you need to show. How deep is your love? Is your love? How deep is your love? I really need to learn, 'cause we're living in a world of fools, breaking us down when they all should let us be. We belong to you and me. How deep is your love? How deep is your love? I really need to learn, 'cause we're living in a world of fools, breaking us down when they all should let us be. We belong to you and me. I really need to learn, 'cause we're living in a world of fools.
Morning, guys. Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. 03459 455 555.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
In Gerrards Cross on the A413 Amersham Road, there's a lane closed northbound between Oxford Road and Kingsway. That's after a police incident. It's not causing any delays at the moment, but could cause some problems later on. In East Hyde on London Road, there's some temporary traffic lights at Newlands Road, which could also cause some delays, but looking quiet so far. And on the motorways, the M25 is starting to build up now anti-clockwise between junction 20 for Kings Langley and 19 for Watford. On the train departure boards, the 6:34 train from Luton to Sutton is delayed. I'll say that again. The 6:34 train from Luton to Sutton is
You all right?
delayed.
What's going on?
I'm trying to say it and I can't say it.
We're all to cock today. My studio's falling apart. Your mouth is falling apart. Are you sure you've not been smoking something?
No, you're playing some very interesting music this morning.
Thanks very much.
Sounds like a normal station. I'm concerned.
That last song, that was why.
And the one before. Kylie, what?
Well, that was why I tried. We didn't play Kylie. We've not played Kylie. There's been no flipping Kylie. What are you talking about, Kylie?
There was Kylie. I heard
There was no Kylie, you lunatic.
Across beds, hearts, and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 6:30. I'm Simon Oxley. Police in Buckinghamshire have launched a murder investigation after a woman's body was found in a lay-by in Gerrards Cross. The discovery was made just after 8:30 yesterday morning by a passing motorist in the lay-by on the A413 Amersham Road. Thames Valley Police say a 50-year-old man from Hayes in Middlesex has been arrested on suspicion of murder. A mother is appealing for help to find her 6-year-old son after her husband had abducted him without warning 6 months ago. Lawyers are seeking any information about the whereabouts of youngster Manny Dad and his father Zane Dean, who has links to Bedford. And ferry and Eurotunnel train services between Britain and France have resumed after a strike and blockade of the port of Calais by French ferry workers caused widespread disruption. Drivers were advised to lock their doors after migrants tried to climb into lorries backed up along the motorway.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
England's cricketers beat New Zealand by 56 runs in the one-off 2020 International at Old Trafford last night. England made 191 for 7, then bowled out the tourists for 135. Joe Root top scored with 68. Here's captain Owen Morgan.
Our batting was brilliant. It was led by Joe Root, who continues to score runs in all forms of the game and continues to set a really high standard for such a young guy within the side. At the moment, he's been brilliant for our change room. He is the epitome of a professional cricketer. He doesn't take form for granted. He cashes in when he is in form, and it's fantastic to watch.
In football, Liverpool have agreed a deal to sign Brazil and Hoffenheim forward Roberto Firmino for £29 million. Watford have moved their home friendly against Sevilla to Friday night, July the 31st, from Saturday, August the 1st. And victory for England's under-21s tonight against Italy will put them into the last 4 of the European Championships. Stevenage swimmer Martin Walton won a gold medal at the European Games in Baku yesterday. The 17-year-old, who's from Hatfield Swimming Club, raced the second leg of the 4x100 metres freestyle. The relay helping Team GB edge out Italy and Russia. Hatfield swimming head coach Iain Wright says it's partly down to dedication.
You can't do that without a lot of hard work and dedication as well. I mean, he swims 9 times a week with us, talking of about 18 hours in the water a week, plus 3 or 4 hours in the gym on top of that, and he's been doing that for several years.
BBC Three Counties News and Sports. The next full bulletin is at 7.
Melinda was mine till the time that I found her holding Jim and loving him. Then Sue came along, loved me strong, that's what I thought, me and Sue, but that died too. Don't know that I will, but until I can find me a girl who'll stay and won't play games behind me, I'll be what I am, a solitary man. Solitary man. I've had it to hear, being where love's a small word, a part-time thing, a paper ring. I know it's been done, having one girl who loved me, right or wrong, weak or strong. Don't know that I will, but until I can find me the girl who'll stay and won't play games behind me, I'll be what I am, a solitary man, a solitary man. know that I will, but until love can find me, and the girl who'll stay and won't play games behind me, I'll be what I am, a solitary man, a solitary man, solitary man.
Boom shakalak. Have some of that. Have some of that.
That was moody, wasn't it?
It was moody, wasn't it? Moody. Not John Denver. Johnny Cash, that's the fella. That's the gentleman.
No, I can safely say that's not John Denver.
Although both excellent gentlemen, singers, guitarists, Americans.
Yeah, one moodier than t'other.
What you got in the papers?
Well, this fella, you know the guy that got prosecuted for being a middle lane hog? He reckons he's been outdone by because he's a white van man. Right? The first driver fined for hogging the middle lane on a motorway claimed he was persecuted for being a white van man.
Oh, he's persecuted for being a right pain in the bum and for driving in the middle lane.
Ian Stevens was told to pay nearly £1,000 and handed 5 penalty points after police said 6 cars were forced to swerve behind his Citroen Berlingo travelling at 60 miles per hour. But the self-employed tiler and decorator claimed he was not just dawdling on the M62 between Huddersfield and Rochdale, and there were vehicles on his left.
OK, right. How come I sound a bit tinny and you don't? I don't now. Sounding tinny and you weren't. Lovely, great new studio we've got. Thanks, guys. What's the point of me even turning up?
Well, I like you turning up.
Yeah, well, I might not bother anymore if this thing don't work. What else you got?
A note attached to a helium balloon by Sienna in Manchester became an internet hit when the finder in the Netherlands put a post on Facebook. It got 13,000 hits.
Oh,
wow.
I say. Isn't that exciting?
I mean, those balloon things, messages in bottles and all that, it's essentially litter, isn't it?
So here we go.
Yes.
Kinky Tail whips up sales.
Here we go.
Greatest ever, greatest ever, greatest ever.
What could this be about?
New 50 Shades breaks grown-up books record. Oh, grown-up books.
Not really grown-up.
The new 50 Shades of Grey bondage tale has become the UK's fastest-selling novel for grown-ups. It's not for grown-ups, it's for sad women. Experts estimate that 1.2 million copies of Grey, which gives Christian Grey's view of his S&M romance, will be flogged in its first week on sale. It shifted. I was in a bookshop the other day, and a woman, and she looked like normal. She didn't look like a deviant, although, she had 2 kids, so, she had obviously had some at some point. Was leaving the shop with her husband, and she's going, they haven't got Grey, we'll have to go somewhere else. He went, what? He said, they haven't got any copies of Grey, they've sold out. What, there's a new one? She went, yeah. He went, flipping it. And they trotted out to try and find another bookshop.
He's thinking, another trip to B&Q.
It shifted 650,000 copies in its first 3 days alone, and 1.1 million more have been sold in the US. The stampede comes despite author E.L. James' latest novel being savaged by critics. Well, of course it's been savaged by critics. It's another book by that woman who didn't know how to write a book. Susan Sandon, boss of UK publisher, said, I'm delighted with it. Well,
of course she is.
Delighted. But BBC radio host Libby Purvis branded the latest instalment dreary. She said the author had realised people will buy any old tosh provided it's filthy enough. And they will buy the same scenes again with a different narrator. It is fair play to E.L. James. It's genius that she's written the same book again.
Yeah.
She's written the same book and people will pay for it.
Can you imagine the meeting? So what are you going to do, E.L. James? How are you going to top this one? I'll write it from his perspective.
Same book again?
Next stop, the maid's perspective.
Oh, dear. J.K. Rowling, of course, has the record for a non-adult book. Grown-up books and non-grown-up books, that's what we get these days, is it? Right, I see. It's like, it's like that, is it?
Are you reading a grown-up book?
Like
you
that,
sauce pot.
It's like that.
Yeah.
It's like you're excited by, aren't you, Just?
No, not really. I'll be honest with you, not really.
Oh, but it's written from his perspective. You get an insight into his psychology.
Yeah, but we kind of got that in the film, didn't we?
Did we?
Kind of got that in the film. Yeah, I think so.
All I kept thinking is she spent a lot of money on those pants. Why not get a bra to match?
Good point, yeah.
The film's out on DVD, I think, now, Just. Are you going to splash out on it?
Yes, I think I will be going to buy it again because films like that, you need to watch them. I'd say at least 5 times. You pick things up along the way.
I never need to see it again.
No, you don't. What do you pick up that this is a really boring film and it's the most unerotic sex scenes of all time?
Well, it wasn't boring, as I said to you before. It's not about the scenes. It's about the mind. That's what makes the film good. That's what makes it sexy, guys.
What
Come
made
on.
it sexy was her bottom for about 30 seconds, and that was it. Here we go, Justin.
Come on.
A serious story. Okay, guys. Big C risk of living too hard. If you live too hard, there's a chance you might get cancer. Oh, no, hang on. The subheading is Viagra user fear.
Oh.
Fellas on Viagra are more likely to get skin cancer, even though the drug is safe, doctors warn. What?
Because
their lifestyles are to blame. Those taking anti-impotence pills tended to be wealthier. What? And spent more time in the sun, which boosted the risk of skin cancer. What?
Wow,
How does that work?
That's a strange correlation.
Are you asking for the Viagra perspective this morning?
I don't think we need any perspective like that. What have you got, Catherine?
I'm just trying to get the joke out of my mind of can you get it over the counter?
Thank you very much indeed.
Children who don't know how to play cards. Children's card games are dying out because of the rise of computer games, right? And social media. A report suggests fewer than half of youngsters now play traditional favourites like Snap, Beat Your Neighbour. I thought it was called Beggar Your Neighbour.
No, it's Beat Your Neighbour.
It's turned into Beat Your Neighbour now.
Beat Your Neighbour.
Gosh, broken Britain.
Yeah.
And Old Maid, it found. Most spend their time gaming alone on a mobile or tablet.
No, we play Uno. Uno's what do they call it? Card game. We play Uno.
Yeah,
So
Snap's a big favourite.
We play Snap. We play Uno, Justin. We play this. Here's what I want for you, Justin. I've got
it. Go on.
There's been a lot in the press the last couple of days. Big story today as well. Skinny jeans.
Oh, love them.
No, mate.
Yes.
They're bad for your health.
Well, I know that, but at the end of the day...
They're actually bad for people's health, not just yours.
Bleeding muscles, nerve damage, heartburn, ulcers, varicose veins. Skinny jeans should come with a health warning is the headline in the Daily Mail, Justin.
Well,
these things, they not only look ridiculous... I tried a pair on once, trust me, I know what I'm talking about.
You can carry it off, trust me. You've been to the wrong shop. And every single time I say this, you say, no, come shopping with me,
mate.
boss. It'll be a great experience.
I went to a shop and I said to the gentleman selling jeans, it was a Levi's concession in, I don't know, Debenhams or John Lewis or something, in Oxford Street.
Selfridges.
That was it. I said to the fella, listen, I want some jeans. I'm a dad. I don't want to go to Tony Blair. And he gave me the jeans that I knew I'd buy, some 501s with a slight boot cut, and I knew I was going to buy those. And he said, "Try these." I said, "These are skinny fit." Yeah. He said, "Try them." I said, "There is not a chance in hell I'm going to buy these." He said, "Try them." So I tried them, and I looked ridiculous,
no,
mate.
you don't. And I have to say, you're wearing boot-cut jeans.
Yes, sir.
You're wearing the wrong jeans for your legs.
No.
Fact.
No, he's not. He's perfectly fine in those jeans. You know, there's only one excuse for wearing skinny jeans as a man. It's that you're Louis Spence. You know, if you're a male ballet dancer, fair enough, but you're used to tights.
Is Louis Spence still a thing?
Well,
he was a thing, wasn't he, for a while? Him and Andrew Stone were things.
I think they're kind of obscene on men.
I upset Andrew Stone, who was the other one from that, what was it called? Peach Academy. What was it called?
Pineapple Dance Studios.
That's it. Although Peach Academy is a great idea for a show, if you're listening, Granada Men and Motors. And I came up with an idea. I came up with a hashtag, TV shows for Andrew Stone. And it was thing like No Stone Unturned, where Andrew Stone has to go and turn over all his family.
Throw the first stone.
Yeah, and it's Toss of the Stone and things like that. And it was TV shows for Andrew Stone. And
Totally
I thought,
stoned.
this is a great little bit of bants.
Yeah.
And he stopped talking to me. I mean, I didn't talk to him a lot, but I think he got upset by the whole phenomenon. I'm trying to find the
What
ones
struck
for
me
this.
about that fella was that he pretended he didn't mind and he knew what the business was all about, but he was actually very, very serious.
He pretended he was 27 as well when really he was 43. Here we go, Stone the Crows. This is on IanLee.com. Andrew Stone just hangs around with some crows in it. Stone Age. This is from Ellie Jane Taylor. People guess Andrew Stone's non-showbiz age. Stoned. People throw stones at Andrew Stone. Stone Alone. Andrew's parents go away for Christmas and leave him at home to fight tiny burglars. You can play this game. 03459 455 Stone Roses. Andrew Stone scoffs Christmas chocks until he's sick. That's from my sister. Skipping Stone.
skipping stone.
Andrew is routinely overlooked for a multitude of roles and jobs.
That might have been the one that upset him.
Sly and the Family Stone. Sylvester Stallone stays with Andrew Stone's family with hilarious results. Harder than Stone. Contestants take turns improving their tougher than Stone by taking it in turns to beat him up. Stonewalling. Andrew Stone is attached to a crane and contestants have to swing him into walls as if he were a wrecking ball. Oh dear. If you want to play that game, you're more than welcome to. 03459 455 555. Can you take skinny jeans to the streets, please, Just?
Yeah, and today I'm going to the streets of Luton. Guys, it's still me. I may be wearing a suit these days, but I'm still very street. I'm going to the streets of Luton.
Justin,
all right?
you know the rules. We don't let you leave Dunstable. That's the rules.
That is absolute nonsense. I'm going back to Luton today. I'm in a skinny suit, and I'll be talking about skinny jeans and why people love them so much.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M1 northbound, the lane has been closed on the exit slip road at junction 10 for Luton Airport because a lorry's broken down there. It's also getting busy on the M25 anti-clockwise between junction 21 for the M1 and 19 for Watford. And the North Orbital Road at Bricket Wood on the M25 junction 21A roundabout is busy as well. In Gerrards Cross on Amersham Road, there's a lane closed there northbound between Oxford Road and Kingsway because of a police incident. And looking at the speed sensors into Amersham on the A404 from Little Chalfont, it's looking quite slow northbound between Little Chalfont and Amersham. On the trains part towards the 6:53 train from Watford to Birmingham New Street is delayed. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much, Sammy. 6:46. It is. Don't forget to get the weather up. It is Wednesday, the 24th of June. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Police in Buckinghamshire have launched a murder investigation after a woman's body was found in a lay-by in Gerrards Cross. A mother is appealing for help to find her 6-year-old son after her husband abducted him without warning 6 months ago. The boy's father has family links to Bedford. And ferry and Eurotunnel services between Britain and France have resumed after yesterday's strike, which saw migrants trying to climb into lorries backed up along the motorway.
Beds, Herts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Do we have any weather? Do we have any weather? We don't have any.
Every weekday morning.
One's partially closed and the others didn't operate at all.
I have contacted other companies who do it professionally and they said it should have been anchored down.
The JVS Show.
It was looked over by the garage and they told me do not move the vehicle anywhere. It's a complete death trap.
The JVS Show fights for your rights and tackles your consumer problems.
I'm getting nowhere. I've tried on numerous occasions to talk to the manager of this company.
If you need our help, email jvsshow@bbc.co.uk.
So they said, we're going to contact the customer, we're going to have a chat and we're going to make a gesture to that customer.
And we could do the same for you.
Without your programme, I don't know what you'd do in the morning.
The JVS Show, weekdays from 9 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
When I get off of this mountain, you know where I want to go. Straight down the Mississippi River to the Gulf of Mexico. To Lake Charles, Louisiana, little Bessie girl I once knew. And she told me just to come on by if there's anything that she could do. Up on Cripple Creek, she sends me if I spring a leak. She mends me, I don't have to speak. She defends me, a drunkard stream if I ever did see one. Good luck had just stung me. To the racetrack I did go. She bet on one horse to win and I bet on another to show. Odds were in my favor. I had 'em 5-1. And that nag to win came around the track. Sure enough, we had won. Up on Cripple Creek, and she sends me if I spring a leak. And she mends me. She sends me if I spring a leak. She mends me, I don't have to speak. She defends me, a drunken stream, if I ever did see one. Me and my mate were back at the shack. We had Spike Jones on the box. She said, I can't take the way he sang, but I love to hear him talk. Now that just gave my heart a throb to the bottom of my feet. And I swore as I took another pull, my Bessie can't be beat. Up on Cripple Creek, she sends me if I spring a leak. She mends me, I don't have to speak. She defends me, a drunkard stream, if I ever did see one. No, no, Lord, 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 there's a flood out in California, and up north it's freezing cold. And this living off the road is getting pretty old. So I guess I'll call up my big mama, tell her I'll be rolling in. But you know deep down, I'm kinda tempted to go and see my Bessie again. Up on Cripple Creek, she sends me if I spring a leak. She mends me, I don't have to speak. She defends me, a drunkard stream, if I ever did see one.
Okay, so more Andrew Stone shows. Most people don't remember who Andrew Stone is now. Stonely the Lonely. We put Andrew Stone on a deserted island. That's it. No cameras. We just get rid of him. That's cruel.
Oh, no.
Cast the first stone. Andrew Stone attempts to find the perfect baby to play himself in his own upcoming biopic. Stone-faced members of the public have plastic surgery to look like Andrew Stone to win free counselling. Stoned. Reality show to see. Reality show to see how long Andrew Stone can openly smoke cannabis in an Iranian marketplace.
Wow.
I mean, that really are.
That is...
They really are. The Rock and the Stone. Andrew Stone is tutored by Dwayne Johnson in the art of wrestling. Stepping Stone. Andrew Stone goes round the country stepping on young children's sandcastles. A lot of thought. And this morning, Robbie sent one in, romancing the Stone. Andrew Stone in a blind date format. The other two contestants are Danny DeVito and Michael Douglas.
I've got one.
Yeah.
Stonewashed.
Yeah.
He sets up his own car wash.
Yeah.
Right. And he's wearing a chamois leather bikini.
You see, it works. It works. There's loads of these. Sly and the Family Stone again. Andrew and parents spend time with Stallone learning how to shoot a box. I don't quite know. A stone's throw away. Andrew has a bit of a tidy up with special guest Bobby Ball. You can play this game at home, and good luck to you if you can. Now, organic food along with iced coffee, two of the biggest cons of you know how iced coffee was invented? It was someone in Starbucks, they made a coffee and they just left it there, and someone went, who's left a cold coffee here? And so that the young lad didn't get the sack from his minimum wage job, he went, yeah, I did. Why? Deliberately. Why? I like cold coffee. No one likes cold coffee, it's disgusting. I like it. In fact, I like it so cold, I'm going to put ice in it. I'm going to call it iced coffee. You're an idiot. And then he drank it, and he had to continue selling it to keep his job because it's disgusting. Organic food is also the same
rip-off.
That's
just food with muck on, isn't it?
It's just food. It's just dirty food and
dirty,
carrots.
ugly food.
It's carrots that look like winkles.
If your winkle looks like that, you should see a doctor.
Oh, well, I have, and there's very little they can do about it. I'm hoping to go onto a Channel 4 programme, though, and expose it on TV. Many people who buy organic or fair trade food insist the contents of their shopping basket taste better than the factory-farmed meat or chemically treated fruit and veg. Well, of course they're wrong. Those chemicals are invented for a reason. They make food taste better.
And look nicer.
They make food taste better. Their desire to support high animal welfare standards, environmentally sound farming, and a decent wage for third world producers. Oh, please, pass the bucket, may have skewed their judgment. That organically sourced coffee. Come on, guys. I'm paying extra for the same thing. Why would I do that?
And actually, why are we paying that? Why don't the producers just do a better deal with the people that are buying it off them?
Listen, guys. Capitalism was built on the suffering of others. It's just the natural order. If you don't like it, then become a socialist country. Move to Russia.
Or Cuba.
Yeah, move to Cuba.
Although in Cuba, there's just a different market. You've got a black market. So if you work in tourism, you'll earn more than a doctor because you get tips.
Here we go. And this is it. And this is it. This is it. And this is the same with vegans. Not vegetarians so much, but with vegans. A certain moral satisfaction associated with consuming food produced in an ethical way means people are more likely to enjoy it. You're feeling smug about yourself. You're feeling smug about yourself as you walk to your high street ethical health food store in your Nike trainers, listening to your iPod Shuffle. Have some of that. I'm Russell Brand. Thanks very much for listening.
Well, people are falling out with him now, aren't they?
Oh, yeah, they did, didn't they? I wonder if I can I take a call? Can I take a call in
Well, I'll
here?
do it. Let me get it.
Okay.
Hang on.
I think I've broken it.
I'll get it.
I think I've broken it.
Hello.
You're there. I've taken it. You're there. Who's that, Steve?
Hello.
Steve.
Oh, that's handy.
Yes.
Can you hear us?
I can hear you from Planet X.
Oh, that's Red Steve.
Yes.
You heard socialism and...
Stephen, what would you like to say?
I was wondering if vegetarians wear leather shoes and have leather belts, if they're that worried.
Well, yes, some of them do. I did when I was a vegetarian.
Well, you're a hypocrite then, aren't you?
No. No.
What do you mean no?
No.
You can wear the skin of an animal, but you don't want to eat meat.
It's a byproduct.
I'll give it a rest.
Well, no, it's a byproduct. So yeah, you can.
No, you shouldn't, should you?
Well,
realistically,
there's no should and shouldn't, is there? Really, we can't be making judgments like that about people. You should and you shouldn't
Why
do
not?
this. You can recommend. You can recommend that they don't, but they do.
No, exactly. They're
Exactly.
Happy days.
Happy days indeed,
Right.
Steve.
I'm off.
Thanks
See
for
you later.
calling. Bye.
Cheers.
Okay, there we go. That was that.
That was good.
Oh, it was good enough.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that. I thought
It's handy knowing you can pick up in here.
03459 455 555 is the telephone number. If you eat organic food, you're doing it out of to get the smug satisfaction of saying, "Yeah, I eat organic food." And do you know what? Yeah, my MP3 player is made by people that get paid a fair wage. Yeah, get over it. Here's the thing. You can't buy an iPod anymore. You've got to buy an iPod something.
Oh, really?
This iPod here is 120 gigabyte, right? I want an iPod that is bigger. This is old, so there must be bigger ones. And I want to get all my 50,000 songs on there. I'm not bragging.
You are a bit.
Well, I've got more than that probably, so actually I'm downplaying it. But you can't, if you go onto the Apple store now, you can't buy an iPod. It's like an iPod Touch or an iPod Nano or an iPod Whisper. There's no iPod.
It's cheeky.
I just want to play music. I don't want to Skype people.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M1 northbound, there's a lane closed on the exit slip road at junction 10 for Luton Airport because a lorry's broken down there. Also southbound on the M1, it's slow from junction 10 for Luton Airport towards junction 9 for Redbourne. And the M25 is busy anti-clockwise between junction 17 for Maple Cross and 16 for the M4. In Gerrards Cross on Amersham Road, there's a lane closed northbound between Oxford Road and Kingsway. And in Bricketwood on the North Orbital Road, that's looking busy too at the junction for the M25 junction 21A roundabout. Samantha Braff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much, Sammy. Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. If you want to give us a call, 03459 455. On Twitter, we're all nicely playing the Andrew Stone game. Most of you probably don't even remember who he is. And do you know what? I don't think it detracts from the fun. Stone the Crows. Andrew travels to Amsterdam with Cheryl and Russell, pretending they all really like Bob Marley. Perfect. Thank you, John.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7 o'clock. I'm Simon Oxley. The headlines: murder investigation in Buckinghamshire after woman's body found in lay-by. Mother's search for abducted son who may be in Bedford. And Luton Muslims condemn march by far-right group.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Police in Buckinghamshire have launched a murder investigation after a woman's body was found in a lay-by in Gerrards Cross. The discovery was made just after 8:30 yesterday morning by a passing motorist in the lay-by on the A413 Amersham Road, which remained closed for most of the day. Thames Valley Police say a 50-year-old man from Hayes in Middlesex has been arrested on suspicion of murder. The body of the woman has yet to be identified. A post-mortem examination is due to take place today. A mother is appealing for help to find her 6-year-old son after her husband abducted him without warning 6 months ago. Lawyers are seeking any information about the whereabouts of youngster Manny Dad and his father Zain Dean, who has links to Bedford. Manny had been living in Poland with his mother Paulina. Her solicitor is Catherine Pritchard.
We know that Zain Dean has family living in the Bedford area, so we know that he does have a significant connection to that area. He has certainly indicated to Paulina when he took Manny from Poland that he was heading with Manny to the UK.
Cross-Channel ferry and train services are getting back to normal after striking French workers closed the port of Calais for much of yesterday. Dozens of migrants hoping to get to Britain tried to climb into lorries backed up along the motorway. Nick Qureshi is in Dover.
After a day of disruption, things are getting back to normal. Ferries are coming in and out of Dover at the rate of 2 every 5 minutes, and hundreds of lorries which had been at a standstill are now heading to France. Eurotunnel, the passenger vehicle and freight operator, has put on extra services during the night. Eurostar's hoping to run a normal service today, even putting on an extra train each way. But it stresses customers must rebook trains and allow an extra 45 minutes for check-in. One snag: trains are fully booked today, meaning delays may continue until tomorrow.
Luton's Muslim community held an emergency meeting last night to discuss plans for a march by the far-right group Britain First on Saturday. Bedfordshire Police have imposed restrictions on the march and are looking to extend these with a High Court injunction on Friday. The chair of the Luton Council of Faith, Zafir Khan, says they don't want the march.
They are provocative, they are insensitive, they are intolerant, and they create an atmosphere which is unconducive for the cohesion and good, tolerant community relations that we have built in.
3 people were taken to hospital after a fire in Buckingham yesterday afternoon. The blaze in Ryland involved a van, a car and 3 motorbikes, with one of the motorbike petrol tanks exploding. A woman was rescued by firefighters from a second-floor flat. Another woman suffering from shock and 2 men suffering from burns were taken to hospital. In sport, England's cricketers beat New Zealand by 56 runs in the one-off 2020 International at Old Trafford last night. The weather, a mixture of cloud with some sunny spells, but feeling warm. A maximum temperature 22 degrees Celsius. And you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
Iain Lee versus Radio Boy.
Well, at least she wasn't calling me an idiot. That seems to be the standard thing these days. Thanks, kids. Broken Britain. It's Broken Britain, isn't it? "30 stone," says Tim. Andrew Stone and Rick Waller compete to see who can get the highest BMI. Scott's not got this. He's not quite understood the Andrew Stone TV show. Scott says The Price is Right. Andrew Stone hosts a game show where contestants have to guess the price of high street items. You've not really grasped it, mate, I'm afraid. I could do this all morning. Stone's Cold Steve Austin. Andrew Stone and Stephen Mangan try to find the biggest fridge in Texas. I mean, you guys are wonderful, aren't you? Thank you, Robbie. 03459 455 555 at Iain Lee. If you want to tweet me, you can text as well. 81333. Start your text 3CR.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
03459 455 555 is the telephone number. If you want to give us a call, you're more than welcome to. Now, 6 months ago, Paulina Dad's ex took her son out for the day and never came back. She believes they may be somewhere in Bedfordshire. Well, Paulina joins me now. Good morning, Paulina.
Hi, good morning.
Now, you're in Poland, aren't you?
I am, yes, I am.
And you live in Poland, and you lived in Poland with your son?
Yes, I have, yeah.
Okay. How old is your boy?
My boy is 6 and he'll be 7 on the 7th of July.
Okay.
So basically he's 7.
What happened to Manny? Because you've separated from his dad. What happened?
What happened, they went on a trip on the 4th of January to Warsaw, and then they were meant to come back on the 6th, and then they never have, basically. And his dad took him to England.
Now, how? This is as a dad myself of 2 young boys. This is such an horrific situation for any parent to be in. When did after the husband or the ex took the Manny away? At what point did he make contact and say we're not coming back?
I did. Basically, I asked him to leave the passports with me when he was going on the trip because I had my issues. I had my concerns that he may actually take him away. And but then I was checking every single, let's say, 2 hours when they were away in Warsaw, how they doing, what they doing, and then on the morning on the 6th of January, I rang the hotel room, and the phone was just engaged. And then I rang the reception, and then they said to me they went to check in a room, and they said the phone was off hook, and then there was nobody in the room, and they never knew how they actually went out from the hotel. So, and then what happened was I woke up. I mean, that was after that, yeah, and I got an email from him saying that he's on the way to Germany to to get some documents to travel, and then that he's going to United Kingdom. And that was it. And I went to the police, and the whole thing started.
Why is he coming? Has he come to England, do you think?
I don't know, because he lived there. He wanted me to come over. I don't know. He wanted to take my son away from me. To don't know why. To punish me, to force me into something. I don't know. It's just something we need to find out.
How are you doing, Paulina? How are you feeling?
As everyone must know, every mother should know how it feels. But I am working very hard for the last 6 months to get somewhere to find him, because I had no clue. I had no, not even one little piece of information that, where money is. And I am obviously, I don't know, I have no words to describe how I feel, because I just want to find him. And then I'll be okay.
You suspect that he might be in Bedford. He has a connection with Bedford. The gentleman's name is Zane Dean. There is a chance that he might be listening to this, or someone who knows him, who works with him, might be listening to this. What would you say to Zane?
I would say to Zane, just come forward and bring money back to me, and then we can talk. And just think about how money's feeling. Nothing between us. It doesn't matter. It matters that Manny needs to see his mum as soon as possible.
When was the last time you spoke to Manny?
It was about a week ago or 5 days ago.
And how did he sound?
For the last month, I would say he just sounds really upset.
Yeah.
Really, really upset now, because it's been a very long time and he doesn't understand why this is going on. And I'm sorry. But, that he's missing me and he doesn't understand why I'm not coming. And why he can't see me.
You you wrote a letter to Manny, your son, didn't you? An open letter. Obviously, you don't know where to send it, but what did you say in that letter?
I just said what I want him to know, that, not to worry, because he's just a little boy who doesn't know what's going on. He's always been with me, so now he's away for such a long time. And basically I want him to know not to worry. And that I miss him, and that I will never let him go again, ever, with anyone. And that was a lengthy letter, so...
Yeah. Paulina, I really appreciate you coming on to talk to us. I know it must be very difficult, and, we will all keep our fingers crossed, and hopefully, who knows who's listening to this, that might just, have spotted a dad and a boy moving in next door, or they might work with Zane, or they might go to school with Manny. You never know. So let's keep our fingers crossed.
Thank you so much for helping me with this, and I really beg anyone who actually, who could see, who's seen them, just to come forward and help me to find my boy as soon as possible.
Let's hope we can speak again soon, and you've got your boy at home with you. Thank you, Paulina. Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. No worries. Well, listen, if you know anything, you can give us a call. You don't have to come on air. 03459 455 555. If you want to send me an email, don't have to read it out on air. It's difficult, isn't it? If someone's moved in next door, or there's the parent at school, and you don't want to, you want to help, but you don't want to get involved. I understand it. You can send me an email, Iain, IAIN, .l88bbc.co.uk, or you could call the police. What is the number for the police these days? Is it 101?
Yeah, 101, the non-emergency number.
You can call them and let them know your suspicions. Have we got any texts?
Let's have a look.
Let's have a little look.
I've not got it open. Oh. You've rumbled me. Hang on. Here we go. We got. Hang on.
Hey, I'll tell you what. While you're opening that, look.
Yeah.
You seen this picture of Mars?
Show me.
Well, I can't really show because it's a bit small, and it's inconclusive. They found a pyramid on Mars.
No, they haven't.
Yes, they flipping have. They have found a pyramid on Mars, like the Doctor Who episode, Doctor Who and the Pyramids of Mars. There is Mars. There is a pyramid. That is a flipping pyramid.
Oh, that is Photoshop, isn't it?
Oh, shut up, mate. Why would NASA be photoshopping?
Is that an official NASA picture? And they're saying it's definitely a pyramid.
A pyramid on the red planet, that's Mars, could mean there is alien life on Mars, or the ancient Egyptians were astronauts. Brap. The structure surfaced on footage from NASA's unmanned Curiosity rover. Sorry?
Sorry, that was my coffee.
Some insist the object, which is the size of a car, must have been built by intelligent life. One theory is the pyramid may be the capstone tip of a vast alien-built cavern. That's what I'm going with. Yeah. That's the theory I'm following. Others say it could be a fluke formation, like those on Earth caused by wind erosion. Yeah, they would say that. The naysayers would say that. It's here we go. It's the latest in a string of ancient civilization finds on NASA footage, including ruins, carved faces, and a sphinx. Scientists dismiss most of these as optical illusions.
Yeah.
But another pyramid, 3 miles high, has been seen on the dwarf planet Ceres, beyond Mars. Then the guy that's written this story he's put a joke in at the end.
Wow, this isn't a joking matter.
Those Egyptians got around. That's not a way to... You can't end a news... Those Egyptians... Imagine if Simon Oxley was talking about, I don't know, a horrific car crash or something, right? And at the end he went, those cars are fast, isn't it? Anyway, sports news. Do you know what I mean?
Some newsreaders do that.
Those Egyptians got around. You can't say that. I am a believer in alien life form. Don't believe in ghosts, because that's rubbish.
No, but the odds are that there will be aliens out there.
Statistically, there has to be other life form out there. There has to be.
Yeah.
And anyone who denies it is a complete and utter plant. The universe is a very big place, perhaps the biggest place in the world. It really is. It's massive. So statistically, those guys have to be out there. Do you remember they found a face on Mars?
Yes.
An actual face on Mars.
But aren't we programmed to look for faces in random patterns?
Yeah, but what does that even mean?
Well, it looked like a face, but that doesn't mean it was definitely made to look like a face.
Well, no, it looked like a face because it was a face. Google face on Mars.
Oh, gosh.
Google it.
Is there a YouTube documentary about this?
There's a great documentary about paedophile pop stars.
Yeah.
one of Britain's favourites. Google face on Mars. Oh, look what comes up.
Face on
It's
Mars.
a picture of a face on Mars.
Yeah, it looks like one of those creepy Venetian...
No, it looks like a face on Mars, Ian, you're right. Thank you, Catherine.
Oh,
What?
wow, that is low.
Steady.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M1 northbound, there are delays because on the exit Slip Road at junction 10 for Luton Airport, the lorry's broken down, so it's blocking a lane. And the M25 anti-clockwise has 2 lanes blocked between junction 16 for the M40 and 15 for the M4 because of a van fire. And that's causing delays from junction 17 for Maple Cross. In Hemel Hempstead, the A41 is slow southbound from the Two Waters Road towards the M25 at junction 20 for Kings Langley. And in Cheshunt on the A10, that's also slow now looking at the speed sensors southbound from the Great Cambridge Road towards the M25 at junction 25 for Enfield. On the A413 in Gerrards Cross, there's still a lane closed there northbound between Oxford Road and Kingsway. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much, Sammy. Oh, hang on, here we go. 7:16, it's Wednesday the 24th of June. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Police in Buckinghamshire have launched a murder investigation after a woman's body was found in a lay-by in Gerrards Cross. A mother is appealing for help to find her 6-year-old son after her husband abducted him without warning 6 months ago. The boy's father has family links to Bedford. And ferry and Eurotunnel train services between Britain and France have resumed after yesterday's strike, which saw migrants try to climb into lorries backed up along the motorway.
BBC Music at Glastonbury.
Glastonbury, you're ready out there!
Bringing you 6 stages. Live.
On television, radio and online.
You can enjoy more of the world's greatest music festival however you choose.
BBC Music at Glastonbury.
Starts this Friday at bbc.co.uk/Glastonbury.
Oh, I'll play this. It's the wrong one, but it'll do.
This is Nick Coffer.
On BBC Three Counties Radio.
You know, otherwise it would have taken ages to get to one of these. Right, have we got any texters?
Yeah, loads.
Yes, let's... Oh, hang on a second. Just a reminder, guys, if you recognise this voice...
You're an idiot.
And the adult laughing at the end, please do call 03459 455 555 and we'll put you through to our legal department.
Okay.
Right.
First text is up from Fat Boyd Slim.
He's like, hello there.
He says, Stone aged. Andrew Stone gets sent back in time to save humanity.
There we go, perfect.
Okay. Phil says, Sharon Stone. Andrew Stone undergoes gender reassignment and lives for a year as an Essex girl in Romford.
Like it, yes.
That's from Phil.
Yep.
Rhinestone Cowboy,
I like
suggests
this.
John in Lincoln.
Already we're on to a winner.
A new travel show where Andrew traces the path of the River Rhine through Europe dressed as John Wayne.
Oh, there! Come on, guys. That's a genius one. We'll have more of those. 81333. Start your text 3CR. But before that, the prisoner who escaped from an open prison in Buckinghamshire has had his sentence increased. Ross Underwood absconded from Spring Hill Open Prison at Grendon Underwood last month while serving time for robbery. Well, it's the second time he's run away from an open prison. This time it was because he says he was being threatened by a gang inside. The first time was because he wanted to sort out a row with his girlfriend. Noel Smith served over 30 years in jail and is now an editor at Inside Time, the paper for prisoners, and joins me now. Morning, Noel.
Good morning.
It's stories like this that make people think that open prisons are a bit of a joke, don't they?
Yeah, I suppose they do, really.
They don't really... what is the point of open prisons?
Well, the point of open prisons originally was to help long-termers and life sentence prisoners to reintegrate into society before they were actually released.
Right.
That was the original premise.
Now they're kind of being used as a softer option, aren't they, for perhaps smaller misdemeanours?
Well, the trouble is we've got a prison system that's in crisis. There's no secret about that. 24% staff cuts and millions of pounds cut off their budgets and an overcrowded system, very overcrowded it now turns out. So obviously the prison system is going to put people where they can put them, where they've got spaces. And unfortunately that means some people risk assessed too easily to get into places like that. And short-termers end up in open prisons and they haven't got anything to lose.
How are you assessed, Noel, that you won't be a risk of... how open is an open prison? Is it just like being in a small village?
Some of them are, yeah.
Right.
Blantyre House in Kent is not. It's got a fence around it, and you have to do a 6-month assessment before you're released from there. But places like Ford and Spring Hill are basically like open camps, yeah.
And how are you assessed? How is one assessed to make sure that they are not a risk of just walking out?
Well, if you're alive for a long term, the risk is very strenuous. I mean, you have to be recommended by everybody. You have to have a long period of with no trouble in prison and be progressing. And then you have to be recommended by the parole board, and then it has to be rubber stamped by the Minister of Justice. If you're a short-termer, you can just be sent there by any prison who wants to send you there.
And what is an open prison like compared to what I would consider to be a more traditional style prison?
Well, obviously it's open. I mean, traditional style prisons are...
It's a good answer. It's a good answer.
But really, they're a lot different to closed prisons. There aren't that many open prisons left in this country now. And the ones that are, they work on a kind of a trust basis. They risk assess you and then allow you to work outside and gradually reintegrate into society.
If, and we all know that there's a problem with prison overcrowding, and there are some groups that believe that there is a problem with understaffing in the prisons and then with to do with parole officers outside of the prison. What's the answer? Is it build more prisons? Because that doesn't look like it's going to happen, does it?
Well, if you build more prisons, you're bound to fill them. It's as simple as that. I mean, if you've got prison places, people will put you in prison. I think.
If you're naughty, they'll put you in prison.
They'll always fill a prison, no problem about it at all. I think the last new Labour government introduced 10,000 new offences onto the bills. But anyway,
which is good for the protection of society, obviously.
Well, yeah, obviously, a lot of it.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're going to put we jail too many people in this country. If you're going to put people in prison for things like not paying their council tax or their television licence or shoplifting or petty theft, you'll end up with a packed prison system, and this is what you'll end up with, a crisis if you then cut the staff. Open prisons should be for long-termers, and they should be for life-sentence prisoners who are coming to the ends of their sentence, who have shown consistent good behaviour throughout their sentence and have spent a lot of time in closed prisons. They shouldn't be for shoplifters and petty offenders who come off the street and get a cushy life in an open prison.
No, do you remember there was talk of a floating prison? Did that ever come to fruition? They were going to put a prison on a boat, weren't they?
They did. HMP The Weir. It closed down in 1996, I think.
Oh, blimey, I'm older than I thought.
Yeah, it was down in Dorset.
Oh, blimey. Yeah, it's an odd concept. Inside Time, your was it a newspaper, a magazine? What is it?
Yeah. Newspaper.
And what? How does it? Well, I've not seen a copy. I'd love to. What's in it?
We have a website as well. I mean, Inside Time was started up by a charity called Newbridge after the Strangeways riot in 1990, when one of Lord Wolfe's recommendations was that prisoners should have some sort of platform and voice outside of prison. So we publish letters from prisoners and articles and various other stuff that prisoners would be interested in. It also goes all over the world. It goes to the House of Commons and it goes to prisoners' families outside.
Now, I know we're going to get phone calls from people, and they won't phone up while you're on the line. They'll wait until you're gone. And then they'll phone up and say, oh, listen to him whinging on. Come on. We all know that prison's like a holiday camp. They've all got PlayStations. They've all got Sky Television. You should lock them up with bread and water. What would you say to those people that will phone up after you've put the phone down?
I'd say do a bit of research and find out what prisons are actually like. I mean, most of the people who tell you that prisons are like holiday camps have obviously never been to a holiday camp. There are no holiday camp prisons in this country. And I would say to them, you get the prison system you deserve. If you want to jail so many people for petty offences, then you're going to end up with a terrible prison system. Nobody's being rehabilitated in our prison system, and it is just for punishment. I mean, we get letters from prisoners now since the budgets have been cut the last 3 or 4 years where they're absolutely starving. You get one hot meal in prison a day, that's all you're entitled to, not free. and you get hard bed and hard fare. It's as simple as that.
We will get people, because we've done this before, who don't get the rehabilitation thing, and they'll say, yeah, so what? So what? Tough. You shouldn't have, murdered someone or robbed someone or battered an old lady over the head. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, rehabilitation is not a present to prisoners or criminals. Rehabilitation is changing the ways of prisoners so that when they actually come out, they don't commit more crime and create more victims. That's the simple fact of the matter. There is hardly any rehabilitation in our prisons at the moment, and you've only got to look at the reoffending rates. I mean, do you want people going to jail again and again and coming out and taking out on society and going back to their old ways? No, you've got to rehabilitate people.
There you are, Noel. You've just explained in one simple sentence why rehabilitation is so important, because ultimately it will save us money, because the aim of rehabilitation is to stop the people who've done naughty things from doing naughty things again.
That's exactly it, yes.
Noel, it's good to talk to you, mate. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you very much indeed, Noel Smith, because we'll always get people phoning up. Lock 'em up. Throw away the key. It's only PlayStation 2 they've got in their cells. It's old stuff. It's not a good one. And there exactly is why rehabilitation is so important. Because it stops them. Well, hopefully it will stop them going out and doing stuff again. That's what we want it for. 03459 455 555 is the telephone number. If you want to give us a call, you're more than welcome to. Have we got any texters?
Yeah, we have. We've got texters. They all like the Andrew Stone game. Poor old Andrew Stone.
Do people know who Andrew Stone is?
I don't think they care. Can't get blood out of a stone. Stone recreates the Tony Hancock blood transfusion sketch with fatal consequences. I mean, that's just a one-off, I guess.
Yeah.
Rebecca in Bedford is talking about the face on Mars, though.
Oh, hang on. Edward says, make prisoners work so they pay for themselves. Well, they do work. Next.
Ooh, just Googled face on Mars. That's a bit freaky. Regarding aliens, I'm more inclined to believe in time travel and that those little green men are actually our descendants, says Rebecca from Bedford, radical thinker.
Rebecca, well, they may be. Here's a theory, right? We were trying to explain to... My boy was doing the thing about Stonehenge, OK? And Stonehenge is a bit rubbish, really.
They built that, didn't they?
Who?
Like us. Not old-fashioned people, but we rebuilt it and stuck it together.
It blew down.
Yeah.
It blew down in, I think, in the 20s or something.
Yeah.
There's pictures, and I'll Google it in a second, of Stonehenge blown down. And we rebuilt it, and you're right, I think it is glued.
And I don't think it's in the same formation that it was.
And it's rubbish. I've never been there, but I've driven past it, and it's tiny. I mean, it was quite a way away, but I've heard that when you get close, it's tiny, and it's rubbish. So my boy was talking to him about Stonehenge. And he made a Stonehenge out of Lego, took it into a school project. Boom. Have some of that, suckers. That was my idea. And here's a theory, though, that how Stonehenge and... how old is Stonehenge?
Really old.
5,000 years old.
Oh, thanks.
Here's a theory, right, that Stonehenge and the Egyptians, when they made... the pointy... the triangles. The
pyramids?
Because they didn't have, cranes and stuff then, did they? They didn't have the cranes.
Well, they had... something
Slaves.
like them.
Yeah.
They used to use winches and levers and pulleys and that.
OK, well, the Stonehenge rocks come from 200 miles away from Stonehenge.
Yeah.
How'd they do that?
Rolled them.
They didn't roll them, they're rectangles.
Put them on logs.
So here's a thought. Maybe there wasn't as much gravity at the time. Gravity was lighter. Why have you turned away from the microphone?
Right, go on. I'm just listening to your theory.
Maybe there wasn't as much gravity and things were lighter, so you could
they
just
floated them in up, the house in up.
No, it just didn't weigh very much. 3 guys could pick up a Stonehenge and just move it, but it'd still be heavy, but not as heavy as it is now.
Right. Okay.
You get heavier as you get older.
I don't actually.
Well, I do. So that theory is perfectly legitimate.
As is the idea, right? You know, people were really short in those days.
Yes.
Low centre of gravity in that. Maybe they were proper stocky and they could just pick them up they were like the Hulk, short hulks.
Right, I'm not being... if you're not going to take it seriously. You tell me, dear listener, how did we make Stonehenge and the Egyptians make the triangles? 03459 455 555.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M1 there are delays northbound because the lane's closed on the exit slip road at junction 10 for Luton Airport after a lorry's broken down there. Also on the M25 anti-clockwise, 2 lanes have been blocked between junction 16 for the M40 and 15 for the M4, which is causing queues from Maple Cross. It's because of a van fire, but it's now been moved to the hard shoulder. On the M40 towards London there are delays approaching the M25 at junction 21A, and in Gerrards Cross on Amersham Road there's a lane still closed there northbound between Oxford Road and Kingsway for a police incident. In Farnham Common on Colham Green Road, that's been partially blocked because there is some deer on the road between Gypsy Lane and Collie Hill Lane. And on Queen Catherine Road as well, that's been blocked because there are some cows in the road at Middle Claydon. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7:30, I'm Simon Oxley. Police in Buckinghamshire have launched a murder investigation after a woman's body was found in a lay-by in Gerrards Cross. The discovery was made just after 8:30 yesterday morning by a passing motorist in the lay-by on the A413 Amersham Road. Thames Valley Police say a 50-year-old man from Hayes in Middlesex has been arrested on suspicion of murder. A mother is appealing for help to find her 6-year-old son after her husband abducted him without warning 6 months ago. The boy's father has family links to Bedford. And ferry and Eurotunnel train services between Britain and France have resumed after yesterday's strike, which saw migrants trying to climb into lorries backed up along the motorway.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
England's cricketers beat New Zealand by 56 runs in the one-off 2020 international at Old Trafford last night. England made 191 for 7, then bowled out the tourists for 135. Joe Root top-scored with 68. Here's captain Owen Morgan.
Our batting was brilliant. It was led by Joe Root, who continues to score runs in all forms of the game and continues to set a really high standard for such a young guy within a side. At the moment, he's been brilliant for our change room. He is the epitome of a professional cricketer. He doesn't take form for granted. He cashes in when he is in form, and it's fantastic to watch.
In football, Liverpool have signed Brazil and Hoffenheim forward Roberto Firmino for £29 million. Watford have moved their home friendly against Sevilla to Friday night, July the 31st from Saturday, August the 1st. And victory for England's under-21s tonight against Italy will put them into the last 4 of the European Championships. Stevenage swimmer Martin Walton has won a gold medal at the European Games in Baku. The 17-year-old, who's from Hatfield Swimming Club, raced the second leg of the 4x100 metres freestyle relay, helping Team GB edge out Italy and Russia. Hatfield Swimming head coach Iain Wright says Walton deserves his success.
Well, he's a very dedicated athlete. He's obviously got a certain amount of talent and physical ability to be able to qualify for the British team and be in such a position in the first place. But you can't do that without a lot of hard work.
BBC Three Counties News and Sports. The next full bulletin is at 8.
Never did too well at school, but I learned all I need to know. Like how to change a tyre and clean myself from head to toe. But some knowledge has eluded me, and one puzzle still remains. What on earth is the mystery of Abbotts Langley Fire Brigade? Did all the helmets go missing one day, or did a dog get stuck up a tree? Did a ghost one night go down their pole? Pray tell, because it's torturing me. Tell us the secret, let the cat out of the bag, because the puzzle still remains. What on earth is the mystery of Abbotts Langley Fire, Abbotts Langley Fire, Abbotts Langley Fire Brigade?
That was it.
Local.
Oh, okay, here we go. There we go.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three.
There we go. Oh, okay, no, it's fine. It's just the system doesn't want to. There we go.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This.
No, okay, there we go. This is It's logged me out of the system. Fine, fun times, guys. Fun times. There we go.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts.
No, it's logged me out of the system. That's fine. OK, so we're logged out of the system. That's great fun indeed. Graham's on the line. Good morning, Graham.
Good morning, Ian.
Good morning, Graham. What, or as they say in America, and we'll find out in about an hour's time, Graham. You'd be called Graham in America. How insane is that?
That's madness.
I don't get Graham, herbs, or any of the other stupid words that the Americans use. But boy, oh boy. Sorry? Tomato. I had to translate. We were watching rubbish cartoon last night on TV. Curious George, right?
Oh, yeah.
Rubbish. And I had to translate to my boys what a tomato was. A tomato. What's a tomato? It's a tomato. Americans are thick. What you got for us, Graham?
Your theory on Stonehenge and the pyramids.
Yeah, can anyone tell us, and this is a genuine question, we'll send Dealey out on it as well for the last hour, can anyone tell us how Stonehenge or the pyramids were made? Scott's just sent me a theory that I'll read in a second. What's your theory, Graham?
Well, skyhooks, long weights, a lot of elbow grease, and they're also painted with tartan paint.
They were what?
Skyhooks.
Yeah, skyhooks.
Long weights. Lot of elbow grease. And painted with tartan paint.
Painted with... Oh, I see what you've done. Go and get me a left-handed screwdriver, please. Thanks very much, Graham. Scott's theory is they got the stones to Stonehenge on rafts. There was a river that went all the way. It's dried up now, like your ideas for the show.
Oh.
Flippin' heck,
A bit of light
mate.
ponyship there.
Flippin' heck, that's outrageous. 03459 455 555. Coming up, it's only Mama Cass's daughter on the show. Here we go. And Jill says, well, now Jill is a teacher, right? So she's got what she says, if you want the serious answer. Well, this is only a theory, Jill, because you weren't there. You say that to a teacher in a classroom, though. You get
sent out.
Get sent out for questioning. Stonehenge pieces were put on barges and transported on a river from Wales. Her evidence? Time Team proved this on a special show. The pyramid builders used water to lubricate the stones. You can't lubricate a stone. And built a type of scaffold. Then manually pushed them with hundreds of workers pulling them. The water reduced the friction to make pulling easier. This is recorded in ancient Egyptian artwork. Oh, Jill, I tell you what, you go and transport rocks 200 miles away using that method and also build a pyramid. You can't do it. You can't do it. It's unfeasible, infeasible. It's impossible. 03459 455 555. Any texts?
Yeah. Oh, you want me to read them?
Yep, go on.
There's a whole film about the Mars face called Mission to Mars.
Yeah.
It's pretty good, says Sandy Joe with a smiley face.
I won't be watching it.
Oh.
I just, you know,
You've already made your mind up.
I'm in the middle of watching a documentary about Big Star, so I shan't.
Is it good?
Thanks. Yeah, it is good, actually.
How about to train your stone? Don't get that.
Yeah.
Sending Andrew Stone to Whipsnade on a training day.
Oh, no, they don't say Whipsnade, they say Whippersnade. And also, it doesn't work, so I didn't read that one out.
I know, I don't really know what that means. Then there's a really rude one that I can't read, again from Tony. And Snuffers says, don't throw stones in glass houses. Andrew Stone sitting quietly in a conservatory. And someone else is suggesting we do that Periscope thing, but...
Nah, I can't be bothered, mate. It's gone. It's been and it's gone. Like Ustream and like Spreaker and like MySpace before me. They've all gone the way of the... Here we go. So, one of my worst recurring dreams, although it was it was the moving house dream last night. It's either the going back to school, going back to college, moving house, or being on stage in a play and not knowing the words. Yeah. It's quite often I'm on stage with the Monkeys and I don't know. Mickey gives me the microphone to sing I'm a Believer and I'm like, I can't do it. But also being on stage with a play or about to go on to a play and I'm going, I don't know the words.
Yeah.
You've had a month to learn. I don't know the words. Can I take the script on? No. Sir Lenny Henry forgot the words.
Not Lenworth.
Lenworth forgot the words. Have you seen this ridiculous wig he's wearing for his new...
that is a wig, isn't it?
Yeah, he's pretending to be Michael Caine.
So they're giving him Michael Caine's hair.
In Educating Rita. He's playing... Tonight, the part of Michael Caine will be played by Sir Lenwood Henwood. Iain from the cheap hotels. Lenny Henry overcame near disaster last night, 40 years too late, his whole career. He's not funny. Not allowed to say that. The other place, BBC WNY work, not allowed to slag him off.
Because he's from Dudley.
Because he's local. Can't be rude about it. You can't be rude about Sir Lemworth Hemworth.
But you can be local and rubbish. Everyone knows that, don't they?
Well, I'll bite my lip. Lenny Henry overcame near disaster last night at the opening of his new theatre role, the first since his knighthood was announced. I mean, we really are. I can hang on. Yeah, that's a barrel being scraped. Sir Lenny, as he, by the way, 03459 455 555. Sir Lenny, as he will officially become. No, he won't. He'll always be Sir Lemworth Hemworth to us. Had a spectacular dry. Ooh, you know about those, don't you?
No. I know what you meant.
This is what actors call a moment of terrifying, silence whistling blankness, when they not only forget their lines, but lose total thread with their thoughts. Now, fair play to Lemworth Hemworth, right? He dealt with it. He got his...
Did you make it up?
No, he didn't. Fair play. I'm sorry, he told the Chichester audience. I've completely gone. And then he broke into Theophilus P. Wildebeest.
Of course he did.
And Delbert Wilkins. He didn't. I'm sorry, he told the Chichester audience. I've completely gone.
Why are you doing Paul McCartney?
And with that, he asked them, do you mind if I just leave for a second?
Oh.
Quentin Letts, the theatre reviewer, says, I wondered if he would return. But return he did, less than a minute later, to clapping encouragement from the audience.
Oh, wow.
He proceeded to perform the rest of the evening with a plum. The incident, which did not spoil the show at all, in some ways it made it, happened half an hour into the first night of educating Rita. If my boys are listening, there's a playwright called Willie Russell's 1983 play about aspiration and bad hair and having it away with an older student. That's what it's about. It's about having it away with that woman.
They don't have it away, did they?
They have it away there.
Do they?
Don't they?
I don't remember that.
In the film, he has it, or he gets close to having it away with her.
They kind of admire stroke love each other, don't they?
The whole thing's based on sexual tension between Sir Michael Caine and Mrs. Overall. That's what it's based on, isn't it? Who plays Mrs. Overall in this? Let's see. Is it in paragraph 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Paragraph 11. It's basically...
She's too young. I've just seen a picture.
It's basically a two-hander. She don't get mentioned till paragraph 11.
Youch.
Lashana Lynch is Rita, is greatly affecting, though her Merseyside accent comes and goes a bit. She could aim for more tonal variety. You've not had a pop at him for saying his lines come and go a bit. He could aim for more line remembrance.
She also doesn't look old enough.
Who cares? He gives it 4 stars.
Oh.
4 stars.
4 stars for forgetting your lines.
I mean, that's an instant 2 stars. You forget your lines, an instant 2 stars. This sets off a whole chain of phone-ins and text-ins. Any Sir Lemworth Hemworth stories you've got, please, however tenuous they are, 03459 455 555. What have you forgotten? And how did you recover? 03459 455 555. And when have you ever seen anything interesting in a theatre?
When I was first doing news on a different radio station, I had to introduce Captain Johnny and Thunderbird 1.
Oh, flippin' heck.
Right? So you do your news and you say, and now over to the, whatever it was called, Captain Johnny and Thunderbird 1 for the travel. I completely forgot what his name was, but my mouth carried on.
Captain Johnny.
So I said, and now over to Murney for the travel.
Murney? Theatre's, let's be honest, guys. Theatre's boring. Plays are rubbish. Jim Dale was good. It wasn't a play. It was a one-man show. There were 2 men in it. So exciting things that have happened to you in a theatre. Let's leave it as vague as that. I've got 2. First one, I went and saw Kevin Spacey, when he was still a novelty in this country, in The Iceman Cometh. That play has got 2 intervals in it. It's too long. It's 2 intervals too many. Skip the interval. You can finish most plays in 85 minutes, okay? This had 2 intervals on. It went on for 4 minutes. It's him showing off, basically. It was all right. It was him showing off. Mm-hmm. He's doing a big speech. He comes in and he's doing a big speech and he's acting like I'm an American. I'm acting and I'm doing a really powerful acting thing. And it's just me speaking and then I stop speaking. Then a phone goes off in the audience.
Oh, yeah, I read about this.
Phone goes off in the audience. He walked up to the lady and went, "Tell them we're busy."
Boom!
Round of applause. That was an interesting thing that happened in the theatre. Another interesting thing, I was in went to see another play, which I think had 2 intervals in it. Jerusalem. Did you see that? It was good. It had that bloke in it and my mate in it. And there is a sound effect of an aeroplane in it. And the bloke next to me leant over and went, "Yeah, it sounds like it is a Boeing 737. I went, "All right, nice one, yeah." He said, "Yeah, I like planes. I know a bit about planes. It's a Boeing 737. I went, "Oh, right, yeah. Then in the interval, we got chatting, and he went, "Yeah, it's just nice to hear. It was unusual. It was the right aeroplane to have for where it's just unusual to hear it, and it got me a bit excited." "All right, mate, you're flipping boring." I'm thinking, as he's saying this, I'm thinking, I know you from somewhere. But you're really boring me, so stop talking to me. And then he went off and to probably get a cornetto, and I sat there. I was with my sister, I think. And it dawned on me who it was. It was only Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden, because he totally loves planes.
Oh, he loves them.
He's got his winkle right up the exhaust of an aeroplane.
Is he the one that's got that great big Zeppelin that looks like a bottom?
Yeah, sure, why not?
I think he is.
That's the fella.
At Cardington.
Bruce Dickinson... no, I'm warm enough as it is, thanks. It was Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden. Ladies and gentlemen, when has something interesting happened to you in a theatre? 03459 455 555.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There's a lane closed on the M25 anti-clockwise between junction 16 for the M40 and 15 for the M4 because of a van fire earlier. It's causing queues back to junction 17 for Maple Cross, even though it's been moved to the hard shoulder now. But it's also causing queues clockwise as well between junction 15 for the M4 and 16 for the M40. And on the M40 itself, queues are back from junction 2 for Beaconsfield towards the M25 because of that van fire. In Gerrards Cross, Amersham Road still has a lane closed northbound between Oxford Road and Kingsway because of a police incident. In Farnham Common on Colham Green Road, that's been partially blocked between Gypsy Lane and Curly Hill Lane. That's because a deer's lying down on the road. And in Bedford on the A6 Paula, a deer is lying down on the road.
Well, just go up behind it and clap your hands.
It's having a rest. Okay, in Bedford on Paula Radcliffe Way, the roadworks there at Manton Lane are causing delays. Smut the breath, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Go away.
That's what I'd say to it. I saw a bunny in the middle of the road today, and I thought, oh, you're going to be dead. There were no two ways about it. I mean, should have gone up behind it and clapped my hands and shouted.
Go away.
7:46. It's Wednesday the 24th of June. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Police in Buckinghamshire have launched a murder investigation after a woman's body was found in a lay-by in Gerrards Cross. A mother is appealing for help to find her 6-year-old son after her husband abducted him without warning 6 months ago. The boy's father has family links to Bedford. And ferry and Eurotunnel train services between Britain and France have resumed after yesterday's strike. Let's get the weather. Here's Kate.
Beds, Herts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Although we do have a bit of cloud around at the moment, it's thinning and it's breaking. We should see some nice sunny spells today. It's already feeling warmer than it did this time yesterday. The air's coming from the southwest, so it's a little more humid. Temperatures outside at the moment between 12 and 14 Celsius. By the end of the afternoon, in the sunshine, we're looking at around 22 Celsius, so it is going to be pleasantly warm. Feeling a bit more sticky though because of that humidity. Sunsets at 21, 25, some cloud working its way back in. Some breaks in it though, so some clear spells, reasonably mild overnight, 12 Celsius the minimum, and sunrises tomorrow morning at 04:43. It's another decent day actually, pleasant, sunny spells, feeling warm, temperatures up to 22 Celsius, and that's your forecast.
Every weekday morning.
Coming up at 9 on the Big Phone In this morning, is it a good idea to make jobless teenagers work for their benefits? How would you like this country to stand up to President Putin? Are you surprised to see British people being blatantly racist?
The JVS Show.
I think we've got to get over this issue about racism doesn't exist. It has existed. It will probably carry on existing.
What I wanted to say is they've got this completely the wrong way around.
You know, that is also true. That is also true.
You will always get some, but they are such a minority.
I think the man's a buffoon.
Get him up, get him out of bed, give him a sense of purpose.
The JVS Show.
Do you think we have got to, as a country, start taking this issue more seriously?
Every weekday morning on BBC Three Counties Radio. Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
What have you forgotten? And interesting things that have happened to you in theatre. It won't be watching the play. 03459 455 555. Now, Hertfordshire's 6 district councils are joining forces to tackle fraud. The county council has launched the Shared Anti-Fraud Service to investigate council tax, business rate and blue badge fraud. They estimate that fraud costs the county around 12 million quid a year and hopes to use the money recouped to fund the new service. Well, Chris Hayward is Deputy Leader of Hertfordshire County Council and Cabinet Member for Resources and Performances. Morning, Chris.
Good morning, Iain.
What will this mean for fraud investigations in Hertfordshire?
Well, this new service, we believe, will be actually unique in local government in the sense it's the first time that any number of authorities have not just worked together, but been co-located in the same place with one team. And we believe that by having that dedicated team, which will in turn have a dedicated hotline for the public to report fraud on, will allow us to actually not only avoid an awful lot of fraud that goes on at the present time, but also hopefully deter some of the perpetrators of fraud as well.
And how is it going to work, Chris? Are you going to have people out and about with the metaphorical magnifying glasses looking for clues, or are you dependent on the public calling in? What's the way it's going to happen?
I mean, ultimately, we are dependent on the public helping us and reporting this sort of fraud. We've only got a team of 9 staff based in Stevenage at our county council offices there. So we do need the members of the public to take an interest in this. And it is important, Iain, because every pound that is given away in fraud is a pound that we could be spending on other council services for residents. And remember, at the end of the day, the council's money is the people's money. It's the residents' money. So it's in their interest to report it wherever they know it's going on.
How much is this service going to cost to run?
It's going to cost us about $500,000 a year, but our business plan suggests that within 2 years we will have recovered at least £1 million of that. So it should be neutral in cost terms. We don't think we'll necessarily make some sort of profit out of this, but hopefully it won't actually cost the residents anything because there'll be a greater awareness and there will be more cases detected and more people brought to justice.
What happens in 2 years if it hasn't quite worked out the way that you're thinking and it has ended up costing more money?
Well, of course, in that scenario, we would have to re-examine the whole situation. We're not in a position to have a huge service subsidised by the council taxpayer. That, again, would defeat the whole object of what we're trying to do. So obviously, we'd review it if that were the case. But all our suggestion, all our evidence, all our business planning suggests that we can make this a cost-neutral service.
Investigating council tax and business rates. I can understand how that kind of fraud would certainly cost quite a few pounds. Blue badge fraud. How much do you reckon financially is lost because of blue badge fraud?
Well, I don't have a specific figure on blue badge, but it's amazing how many people claim blue badges who are actually not entitled to do so. And there is a cost there because they've got to be produced, they've got to be sent out. So there is what we often call in local government the hidden cost of all the time and staff time that's needed to actually process these. So there is blue badge fraud, there's tenancy fraud, there's housing waiting list fraud, people claiming to get on a housing waiting list and they're not entitled to a place. There's contract and procurement fraud, another big area we have to look at. We have huge numbers of suppliers across the 6 local authorities, and we want to make sure that we're not actually getting fraud in that area as well. So there's a huge range of areas where we can detect and hopefully investigate and ultimately deter fraud from happening within the 6 authorities.
All right, Chris, listen, best of luck. Let's hope you can save a few quid. Chris Hayward, Deputy Leader of Hertfordshire County Council.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Morning, John.
Good morning.
What have you got for us, John?
I was rather hoping to speak to that councilman, because I know people that have been done for benefit fraud and haven't had to pay a penny back, and they've done it for many, many years. They have been caught, but they didn't have to pay anything back. They had a little tiny fine, which you could probably get out your back pocket, and a few hours community service.
What was this for? Council tax fraud?
Yep.
What do you think should have happened to them?
Well, they should have paid the money back. I mean, it's not just the council tax. If you're on them sort of benefits, you get council tax, you get some sort of rent refund, you get all free dental, you get a multitude of stuff.
But supposing they couldn't afford the council tax, what should happen to them?
Oh, they could have afforded it, don't worry.
Well, how do you know?
Because I know the situation.
Well, what was the situation?
Somebody living with her that shouldn't have been.
I don't know what that means.
A male and female getting the benefits, but say they're not getting the benefits?
Getting the benefits, but saying they're not getting the benefits.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
I've got literally
the matrimonial benefits, but he's not actually down as being there.
Oh, you mean sexual benefits?
Ooh, sir, please behave yourself.
Well, no, there you go. But how do you know they could afford the council tax?
Because
they were having sex. Okay, so we've established that. How do we know that they could afford the council tax?
Because I know who they are, and I know that they're both working.
Right, but I don't understand. Sorry, someone just spoke in my ear, so I missed what you said. How do you know that they could afford the council tax?
Because they're both working, and I know what they both do.
Right.
I've known them both for a long while, and I know that if you can get away with it, you get away with it. But when they get caught, then they should pay up.
Okay. Well, Chris is still there. Morning, Chris. You're still there, are you?
Yes, I am, Ian.
Well,
yes.
These are exactly the kind of people that you want to be reported, don't you?
They absolutely are. And let me assure your caller that if these people are reported, we will prosecute. You know, where there is evidence of this sort of crime going on, and it is crime, we will, of course, prosecute it. So nobody's going to get let off lightly. Let's be absolutely clear about that. I want the Hertfordshire public to understand that. These cases need to be reported.
Lightly, though, didn't she? She had a small fine, a few hours community service, and the money didn't have to be paid back.
Okay, well, look, I understand that. I can't comment on a specific case. And, of course, once the courts deal with it, we put forward the evidence, but at the end of the day, it's a matter for the courts to decide. But I would hope, my wish would be that the courts would deal with this matter robustly, and people should pay back. I agree with the gentleman that people should pay back. If they've committed fraud, the money should go back.
I suppose the thing is, Chris, if you know, John's story is accurate, and they see people kind of cheating the system and not getting punished, and you just said it is out of your hands, it goes to the court system, they'll kind of think, well, what's the point in reporting it?
Well, this is, of course, one of the fundamental reasons why we have now established a much stronger presence by this shared service. You know, before, I can accept that people potentially were getting away with it. But I believe under the investment we're making in this new service, we will detect more of those people, bring them to justice, and hopefully get that money back into the system where it belongs, serving the residents of Hertfordshire.
Satisfied, John? It sounds like they want to make a difference, John.
No, I'm not satisfied, because I've also reported in the past people for knowingly defrauding disability. I've left my name and everything in the past, and nothing gets done about it. They are still getting their free cars, and they're still getting their free everything else, free bungalows, free houses and everything else. They get their partners are living with them. I mean, I think I must live in the disability village of the universe, and nothing is done about it.
Chris?
Ian, can I suggest I give a telephone number which the public, including John, can use, and they can actually report it on this line.
John, have you got a pen and paper?
Done about it.
Yeah, but I have reported it. So
No, but this isn't John. But John,
this is a new hotline.
This is a new service, John. We've got to give it a crack of the whip, haven't we?
Yeah, go on in, crack on.
Have you got a pen and paper?
I have, sir.
All right. Well, John, you're going to be our trial case then to ensure that this works. Chris, give him the phone number.
Okay, the phone number is 0300, that's 0300 123 4033. I'll say it again, 0300 123 4033. And that is our new fraud hotline, and I would encourage John to use it.
John, why don't you do that and let us know how it goes?
Okay, mate, no worries.
Brilliant. Thank you for your call, John. Chris, thank you for hanging on. 034. Thank you very much. 03459 455. 555 is the telephone number. You can text 81333. Start your text 3CR. You can also email as well, ian.lee, IAIN.LEE at bbc.co.uk.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There are delays on the M25 anti-clockwise because the lane's been closed between junction 16 for the M40 and 15 for the M4 after a van fire earlier. It's causing queues right back to junction 18 for Chorleywood, and it's also affecting the clockwise M25 pass there between junction 13 for Staines and 16 for the M40, with queues looking over to the other side. On the M40 there are delays between junction 2 for Beaconsfield and the M25, and that's because of that van fire too. In Gerrards Cross on the A413 there's still a lane closed northbound between Oxford Road and Kingsway. In Farnham Common, Colham Green Road's partially blocked between Gypsy Lane and Coley Hill Lane because of a deer in the road. And in Hertford on Gascoigne Way, that's looking busy around 4 Street. In Bedford, Paula Radcliffe Way is slow through the roadworks at Manton Lane in southbound. And on the trains, the 8:13 service from Milton Keynes Central to South Croydon has been cancelled. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Sammy. I'm confused. Is BBC Three Counties Radio 30 years old today? That's what Philip in South Norwood, who he knows things, said. Surely we'd have been, someone would have been singing and dancing about it, wouldn't they? Wouldn't they?
You would think.
You would think. Are we? I don't know. I've only been here 3 years. I mean, is that... Oh, it's not Philip in South Norwood. It's another Philip. Are we? Is it? Are we? I don't know.
Local and vocal across Beds, Herts and Bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8 o'clock. I'm Simon Oxley. The headlines: murder investigation in Buckinghamshire after woman's body found in lay-by. Mother's search for abducted son who could be in Bedford. And Muslim community condemn plans for Luton March.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Police in Buckinghamshire have launched a murder investigation after a woman's body was found in a lay-by in Gerrards Cross. The discovery was made just after 8:30 yesterday morning by a passing motorist in the lay-by on the A413 Amersham Road, which remained closed for most of the day. Thames Valley Police say a 50-year-old man from Hayes in Middlesex has been arrested on suspicion of murder. The body of the woman has yet to be identified. A post-mortem examination is due to take place today. A mother is appealing for help to find her 6-year-old son after her husband had abducted him without warning 6 months ago. Lawyers are seeking any information about the whereabouts of youngster Manny Dad and his father Zane Dean, who has links to Bedford. Manny had been living in Poland with his mother Paulina. Her solicitor is Catherine Pritchard.
We know that Zane Dean has family living in the Bedford area, so we know that he does have a significant connection to that area. He has certainly indicated to Paulina when he took Manny from Poland that he was heading with Manny to the UK.
Cross-channel ferry and train services are getting back to normal after yesterday's disruption in Calais. Dozens of migrants hoping to get to Britain tried to climb into lorries backed up along the motorway. The government here is to announce the establishment of a new task force to help tackle organised trafficking in the Mediterranean. More from Ben Wright.
The sight of hundreds of migrants trying to leap onto lorries in France and get to Britain illegally is uncomfortable for the government. And the numbers congregating in Calais are only expected to grow. But Tory MPs and the Labour front bench say the problem is a French one. The government's new 90-strong law enforcement team will include staff from the Border Force, the National Crime Agency, Immigration Enforcement and the Prosecution Service. A handful will be based with Europol in Sicily and The Hague. But politicians from all parties say the scale of this migration crisis urgently requires an EU-wide response.
Luton's Muslim community held an emergency meeting last night to discuss plans for a march by the far-right group Britain First on Saturday. Bedfordshire Police hope to impose further restrictions on the march with a High Court injunction on Friday. Dr Fiaz Hussain from the Luton Council of Mosques says the group is not welcome.
Everybody is against it. They feel that it paints the wrong picture of the town. It's a wonderful town with some wonderful people and wonderful communities. Everybody's gelling together on this. We work together, we play together and we live together, and we really just want to be left alone, and there's no need for anybody to come and disturb that peace.
A robber who escaped from an open prison in Buckinghamshire has had his sentence increased by 6 months. 30-year-old Ross Underwood was on the run from Spring Hill Prison for a week last month. It was the second time he'd absconded from an open prison. In sport, England's cricketers beat New Zealand by 56 runs in the one-off 2020 International at Old Trafford last night. The weather, a mixture of cloud with some sunny spells, but feeling warm, a maximum temperature 22 degrees Celsius. And you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3counties. Three Counties.
Philip's not wrong, 30 years. Kind of, if you kind of fudge it a bit. Radio Bedford.
Radio Bedfordshire.
Yeah, Radio Bedfordshire, June the 20, whatever it is today.
4th.
That, exactly, 30 years ago, whatever that would be. Not so quick there, are you? 85. We'll play some classic bits from the last 30 years. Well, the only one I've got is this.
All fish fingers.
I mean,
all fish fingers.
It's the
all
best.
Fish fingers, all fish
it's the
fingers,
best clip from the last 30 years. I mean, it's just. Oh no, there's this as well.
Good morning, sir.
So that's it. That's the best of the last 30 years.
We should have made a bigger deal, shouldn't we?
Didn't it? Well, I'm thinking we missed a trick here. New building, 30th birthday. We should have invited. Oh, I don't know, like some orphan kids or the ginger jumper or someone in to cut a ribbon or I don't. We don't. Oh, there's this
Stetson.
You see, we'll be playing more of the best bits of the last 30 years in the next hour. Also, shows for Andrew Stone. These are some more. Stonehenge. Andrew builds a henge. Stone-walled. Andrew visits famous walls around the world and performs on them.
Oh.
Give the dog a stone. Andrew Stone learns to survive being caged with a series of dangerous canines.
Oh, now.
And Guy says, kill two birds with one. Oh, no, hang on, maybe not. Yeah, I think. 03459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Written in stone. People write abuse on Andrew Stone, the audience watches, and Stone the Crows. Andrew looks into the history of scarecrow making. What have you forgotten? And interesting things that have happened to you in the theatre. It won't be the play.
Hey, and don't forget we want your Sir Lenworth Henworth stories too.
Oh, yeah, if you've ever come across Sir Lenworth Henworth, Sir Lenny Henry, as some of you oiks know him as, 03459 455 555. Maybe you've seen him outside a toilet at a service station. That happened to me. It wasn't Sir Lenworth Henworth, it was Uri Geller.
Oh.
We had a little bit of
I
bants.
thought it was Gemma Collins.
No, Gemma Collins was in a car park at a service station. This was specifically outside of the toilets at a service station. I saw Uri Geller. Iain, it's so great to see you. I want to bend. You're not now. I'm going for a wee, mate. Don't bend that. 03459 455 555. Texas 81333. Start your text 3CR. While we're gone.
We've got this from Dave. Get the 6 councils to form into one. Huge savings for the taxpayer, also reducing fraud by 6 times. I'm not sure it's quite as simple as that, but... OK. And this one from Martin in Biggleswade, talking about Jill's email earlier on about we're trying to work out how Stonehenge got there. So those stones were from like 200 miles away.
That's correct. Yeah, 200 miles away.
Jill said,
and by the way, just thanks for my general knowledge.
You've done your kids' homework. This is how it works.
I didn't do my kids' homework. What happened? This is the thing. This is how it works. Start talking with the boys about stuff, and they'll say, "Well, what is that?" So, do you know what? I don't know. I'm going to look it up. I found it. Did you click on the link? I posted last night. We were talking about. He had a glass of water, and I said, "Oh, you know, some people play glasses of." Well, he said, "What do you mean?" And he was blowing it. I said, "No. What they do is they get lots of different glasses of water, and they wet their fingers and they play it like an instrument." And he went. That sounds amazing. Can I see it? I'm going to try and find it on my computer now. And I went, yeah. And I found the most amazing clip of someone playing, hang on a minute, glass playing Sugar Plum Fairy. This is amazing. Have a listen to this, right? This is amazing. This blew my mind. This is glasses of water, okay? Live in concert.
This hasn't got any swears, has it?
No. Listen to this. Glasses of water. It blew my kids' mind. It blew my mind. Here we go, listen. 2 people, glasses of water. Enjoy. I'm getting shivers down my spine. And you should see it. It's this guy and this woman, and they're in, it looks like a sort of cellar. They've got, I'm guessing there's about, if you type in YouTube, glass playing Sugar Plum Fairy, about 40 glasses of various sizes. And me and my boy were watching this, and we were both agog. It was incredible. what was more incredible was my boy said, "Oh, that's the Sugar Plum Fairy." What? What? Posh kid? How did you know that? Honestly, I'll retweet that link in a minute. It is the most incredible thing. Goosebumps, guys. 03459 455 555 81333. Start your text 3CR. Now, a Polish woman believes that her estranged husband has abducted her son and may have brought him to Bedfordshire. We spoke to Pauline, her dad, earlier on. She's been searching for the pair since they went missing 6 months ago. Her ex, Zane Dean, has links to Bedford and could very well be in this area. Well, Lady Catherine Mayer is the founder of PACT, which is the Parents and Abducted Children Together, and joins me now. Good morning, Catherine. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
Paulina's story, it's slightly different because of the laws in Poland and the way they interpret this, but how common is it for a dad to take a kid?
Unfortunately, it's more and more common for parents, one parent, to take a child to another country. And this is a system that normally should work very simply, because a child should be returned to the country of its habitual residence. But in this case, obviously, we don't know where the father is. So we need to find where the father and the child is, because then the mother can start proceedings and have the child returned to her in Poland. Because, people can't just take children away and run off. It's very traumatizing for the children.
Well, it must be awful for the children, because we have no idea what the dad is saying to the child, about why he's not seeing his mum. So that all kinds of misinformation could be given. And also, obviously, very traumatic for the mum in this story, isn't it?
Absolutely. For the mother, it must be desperate not knowing where your child is. And, and you've been saying it's been going on for 6 months. I mean, it's a terrible thing for a mother, for any parent, as a matter of fact, but also for the child. And as you exactly say, who knows what the father says? I mean, the father is not going to say, I'm taking you away because I'm a bad person and I want you to be with me and not with your mother. He's probably saying, I'm doing this to protect you against your mother. And all this, sometimes it can be very little things, but slowly the child will start believing that his mother or her, I don't know if it's a boy or a girl.
It's a boy, yeah, but you could be passing, your mum doesn't love you, your mum doesn't want to see, all kinds of things.
You and your mother, maybe even a bad person, and slowly the child will turn against the mother, and this is what is called alienation. And the problem is with any stories like that, the longer the child is away from one of the parents, the worse it becomes and more difficult it is to return the child. And we're actually doing a documentary about exactly this point, trying to look at a family and the effects of abduction on the whole family, on the child, the taking parent, and the left behind parent.
Sorry to interrupt. This happened to you, didn't it? Can I ask what exactly your situation was?
Well, my situation was slightly different, but very similar. I was separated from my husband, my ex-husband, and we had an agreement, and I sent the children on holiday to visit their father. And when they were due to come back to London, the father sent me a letter saying, I'm not sending them back. And then for several weeks, he disappeared, and I didn't know where they were, just like this poor woman in Poland. And I can tell you, this is so traumatic. It's horrible.
How did you sleep at night?
You don't. I mean, you're constantly worried. You can't sleep. You miss your child physically also. It's quite difficult to explain. And it's a constant worry. And so I didn't know where they were. And basically it took, a lot of court hearings, huge amount of money. I couldn't see the children. And basically for me it took 10 years. And
Sorry,
we're
10
talking
years?
about Germany. But it was several years
Was
ago.
that 10 years to get them back, or did you see them within that 10 years?
I saw them for 24 hours in 10 years in total. So,
Gosh.
and but that was quite a while ago. So hopefully now the system should work a bit better.
Are things better?
A little bit, not hugely. And because the problem is you can have a decision in one country, but it's not necessarily enforced in another country. And the other problem is, unfortunately, people tend to be a little bit nationalistic. So the courts and the system will tend to defend the person who is their national, whether it is right or wrong.
And what's obviously PACT, your charity or society helps people. What help is there for the parent who has had their child or their children abducted?
Very little. Actually, we do research and advocacy.
Right, okay.
And we try and change the laws, but obviously we get quite a few parents who write to us. So what we try and do, and it's all written on our website, we try and guide them, tell them where they should go, to whom they should talk to, immediately call the police or get a lawyer, and we try and help them because most people have no idea. I mean, when it happened to me, I had no idea. I used to work in the city and everything was fine, and suddenly I'm faced with a situation that is completely... I didn't even know about child abduction. And that's the other thing, is people are not aware of it. Even today, they're not aware of it enough. And so people don't realise how dangerous it is sometimes to send your child on holiday to another country because it may never return.
Lady Catherine, let's hope this story ends happily for the mum and the boy. I really appreciate you sharing your story this morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lady Catherine Mayer, founder of the Parents and Abducted Children Together. 03459 455 555. Let's have a little bit of this.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There are delays on the M25 anti-clockwise of an hour and a half between junction 19 for Watford and 15 for the M4 after a van fire earlier. It's also causing 45-minute delays clockwise from junction 12 for the M3 to junction 16 for the M40. And the M40 into London also has delays from Beaconsfield towards the M25. It's all because of a van fire earlier that has been put out there now though, and it's on the hard shoulder. In Gerrard's Cross on Amersham Road, a lane still closed northbound between Oxford Road and Kingsway. In Farnham Common, Column Green Road is closed between Gypsy Lane and Coley Hill Lane, and in Hertford on Gascoigne Way, that's very busy around Ware Road. On the train departure boards, there are no major delays showing up at the moment, but on the London Overground, it's suspended between Richmond and Clapham Junction. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much indeed. It's 8:16. It is Wednesday the 24th of June. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Police in Buckinghamshire have launched a murder investigation after a woman's body was found in a lay-by in Gerrard's Cross. A mother is appealing for help to find her 6-year-old son after her husband abducted him without warning 6 months ago. The boy's father has family links to Bedford. And ferry and Eurotunnel train services between Britain and France have resumed after yesterday's strike.
Every weekday from 3. Local stories.
People in Watford are being urged to celebrate their local heroes by creating a postcard in their honour. In other local news, rugby fans are being warned to watch out for fake World Cup tickets.
Roberto Peroni.
Now, a metal detectorist has discovered an archaeological find in a field near Royston in Hertfordshire. Taxi drivers in Luton are demanding to be allowed to drive in bus lanes at all times. There is to be a new station at the Leighton Buzzard Narrow Gauge Railway.
Roberto Peroni. Weekdays from 3 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
I hope there's not swearing on that video you're showing me. The first one was filthy. That second one was very sweet. The video of your gran walking the dog. The first one was disgusting. How did you do that? Who was holding the camera? Was it a selfie stick?
I don't know what that is. You've now what have you done here? You've put all this equipment in the way. I can't see your face anymore.
Yeah, no, I can't see yours, mate. That's a good reason. I don't know. Whoever, I don't know. Hey, listen, happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
What's happened to your eye?
I've got hay fever. Shut up. That's not very nice. I'm suffering here.
What happened to your legs? Oh, I've broken them. Why are you in a wheelchair? I can't walk.
I can't even see properly out of it. So bad today.
It is. Listen, my computer's all gone to what can only be described as cock. Hang on a second. Here we go. Right. Happy 30th birthday. 30 years of BBC Bedfordshire and Three Counties Radio. today.
Well, do you know the full story? Because it was originally BBC Radio Bedfordshire.
Yeah.
Then we rebranded, and it was BBC Radio Bedfordshire with Hearts and Bucks.
Oh.
that was catchy, wasn't it?
Shall we have a little listen to the I think this is the... What am I about to play, Catherine?
This is the opener. This is the first words said on air, recorded message from the station manager at the time, Mike Gibbons.
Let's. So this was 1985. Let's see how much fun BBC Local Radio was then.
Thank you, Colin Berry. And despite the bad weather, we're here at long last. And for the first time this morning, good morning, Bedfordshire. Good morning on this, our first day on the air. It's the end of 10 years of planning and at the same time the very beginning of a new 365 daily service for you if you live in Bedfordshire, North or West Hertfordshire
daily,
or North Buckinghamshire.
Okay.
This is your local service giving you programmes you can't find anywhere
doesn't it
else.
sound fun?
Not just the most comprehensive news and information service in the area, but also in-depth coverage when we feature you, your organisation and its activities, and your community's interests or concerns. There are 30 of us here, based in Luton and Bedford, and we're building
studios. At this
studios.
point, I'd have gone, when are they going to introduce Heart to the area, you know?
Too. I hope you'll tune in daily and see what we can offer. Each day will bring something new, something special to somebody, and at weekends you'll really notice the difference, from sport to arts, from memories to local musicians.
Memories and local musicians. If only they could have predicted that I would be crashing their radio station on a regular basis and you would be tearing small companies apart because of a drinks dispenser that doesn't work in a faulty fridge freezer.
I don't remember it ever sounding like that.
This is the breakfast show. Hang on. And there'll be people on Facebook going, we should get that guy back.
BBC Radio Bedfordshire. No, we had better jingles
Monday morning,
then.
the 24th of June 1985. My name is Gareth O'Callaghan, and for the first time, welcome to Breakfast in Beds
Strong
and
Irish
Hearts
contingent.
And
Gosh, they really were easing people into the morning, weren't they?
Yeah.
This morning we were playing a country version of AC/DC. Or Aerosmith, actually. Well, there you go. Well, that's Facebook will be going, yeah, well, it should be like that all the time now. It's not like that anymore. They've ruined it. They have.
You must admit, though, the jingles were better.
The jingles, I do like those. I'm a sucker for those old jingles. I do like those old jingles.
They're stuck in your mind.
Yeah. They're talking out there. Sorry, guys, we're trying to do a radio show.
Sorry, we were just discussing a fantastic caller.
Okay, fine. Listen, I've got the whole back catalogue of the last 30 years on my computer. Yes, I have.
Have you got my first ever show?
I have got your first ever show. Would you like to have a listen to it?
Yeah, go on.
Okay, let me just find it. Okay, here is your first ever show. Oh, hang on a minute. I've got to put the wrong fader. Here we go. First ever show.
Knockers are better.
There we go. And boy, oh boy, things really have changed. And this is your
remember that. Go on.
This is your show from yesterday.
It's got benefits and it's got disbenefits.
It's got benefits and it's got disbenefits. From the past to the present.
Yes, hardly anything's changed.
What's on your show today?
Coming up on the big phone in this morning from 9, I'm asking, how much sympathy do you have for the migrants in Calais desperate to reach the UK? Border security is being stepped up in northern France and Dover as hundreds of migrants try to smuggle themselves into the UK. Striking French ferry workers have blocked the Channel Tunnel with burning tyres, and migrants are taking advantage of the stationary traffic to sneak into the back of lorries bound for England. An estimated 3,000 migrants are living rough in Calais, and last year our government pledged £12 million to help the French get control of the situation. Conservative MP for South Thanet, Craig McKinley, has told the BBC the British government is trying to stabilise countries from which migrants are fleeing, and it wouldn't be fair for the migrants to become Britain's problem. Well, from 9 this morning, I want your reaction to this. How much sympathy do you have for the migrants in Calais desperate to reach the UK? I'd love your call on 03459 455 555 on the big phone in from 9.
And we asked the public what they thought, Jonathan, and
Go away!
I'm afraid it doesn't look good. Oh, no, that's the wrong thing. Oh, blimey. There we go.
That'll teach you.
That'll teach me a lesson. Don't be rude to JVS. He'll do voodoo. See you later on. Ta-ta. That'll teach me. That'll learn me. Now, a prisoner who went on the run from Spring Hill in Buckinghamshire has been given an extended sentence for his trouble. Ross Underwood walked out of the open prison last month while serving time for robbery. It was the second time he's done a runner. The first was to settle an argument with his girlfriend. This time he says he's being targeted by a gang inside. Well, Andrew Nielsen is the Director of Campaigns at the Howard League for Penal Reform. Good morning, Andrew.
Good morning.
How common is it for someone just to stroll out of an open prison?
Well, in the sense that they are open prisons and prisoners are leaving the prisons during the day to do jobs or education, then they are literally strolling out all the time. But abscons, which basically means when a prisoner doesn't return to the open prison at the time that they're meant to, are not as common as they were. They have been going down in recent years, but they do happen because obviously there is a risk associated with letting anyone out. They are assessed to see if they're ready. We're talking about prisoners at the end, towards the end of their sentences. So they've spent some time in the system, and the authorities know them pretty well. But occasionally people do abscond, and that can mean a variety of things. It can mean that they're simply late. They're just not back at the prison at the time they're meant to be because they've gone off to do something, such as settle an argument with a girlfriend. Or they are very occasionally actually going on the run and actually trying to escape.
If you're in an open prison, though, and I would imagine you are approaching the end of your sentence, or you have a short sentence, why would you escape? Surely is the punishment if you escape, you get sent back to, in inverted commas, a proper prison?
Yes, and you'll get a longer. You will get a longer sentence. Absolutely. One of the reasons why it's rare is because actually, people in open prison are on long sentences by and large, and they're towards the end of that sentence. So it's really not in their interest to even take the chance, because if they get caught, they end up spending a lot more time in jail and not in open conditions. And if they're towards the end of the sentence, they've just got to stick that last bit out, and then obviously they're free. So it is rare, and open prisons are important. Every time this happens, I'm often one of the people who will be on the radio explaining why we still have open prisons. And the big reason that they are important is because if you have spent a lot of time in prison and you have maybe spent years inside, then you are really not well equipped to come back out. And open prisons give prisoners a chance to find jobs, do education, line things up for when they do get released. And I think that is a far better way of doing things than simply ejecting them out onto the streets after many years, ill-prepared and not ready to rejoin society, because the result, I think, there will be more crime.
We spoke to a gentleman earlier on who suggested that sometimes open prisons are being used just because of prison overcrowding. So people that perhaps shouldn't be put in open prisons are being put in there because there's nowhere else for them to go. Is that right?
I think that was a concern about a year ago when there was a spate of high-profile absconds from prison, from open prisons. And there was a concern that prison overcrowding and potentially also problems with prison staffing, actually, meant that people were perhaps being moved into open conditions when they weren't ready, and then the lack of staffing was perhaps putting some pressure on the prison's ability to properly assess whether people were ready to be let out, because people can go to open prison and they're still not let out. They're assessed while they're in the open prison sometimes, whether they're ready to go out during the day. I think that that's been less of an issue because there were some high-profile cases. There was a lot of pressure to clamp down on that. And if anything, we've been hearing the opposite now, that the problem is actually that prisoners who should be going out on open conditions are actually finding it harder to do that because there is so much pressure on staff to get it right. But certainly that was a problem a while back, and it remains a concern because we do have overcrowded prisons.
Andrew, I appreciate your time. Thank you. Andrew Nielsen, Director of Campaigns at the Howard League for Penal Reform. 03459 455 555. Hey, coming up in a bit, Catherine has secured one of the coolest interviews we've ever had. We pre-recorded it. Don't often pre-record stuff. Saying that, Later this week, there'll be a pre-recorded interview with a monkey as well. You've got to be careful because they can just throw stuff at you. So we don't normally do it. We tend to do everything live. But when you're speaking to the daughter of Mama Cass Elliott, who is was she in California, IA? I think
she was, yeah.
She was in California. We've got Owen Elliott coming on, who is the daughter of Cass Elliott. And she's just brilliant. What an interesting woman. You know, she was 7 when... Ollie, we're on the radio, mate. Thanks. Kids these days. Just confiscate his pocket money. She was 7 when her mum died, but she remembers, you know, she tells a really good story about seeing her mum in concert and why she got angry with her mum and stuff, and it's just brilliant. It's brilliant. We'll have her in a little bit. 03459 455 555.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M25, there are severe delays of an hour and a half between junction 19 for Watford and 15 for the M4 because of a van fire earlier. There's still a lane closed. And also on the clockwise M25, there's 45-minute delays between junction 12 for the M3 towards junction 16 for the M40 because it's on the opposite side. On the M40 towards London, there are queues from junction 2 for Beaconsfield towards the M25 too because of that. In Gerrards Cross, it's looking a little busy now on Amersham Road northbound. There's a lane closed between Oxford Road and Kingsway after a police incident. And in Watford on Exchange Road, it's slow around Beach and Grove. On the trains, London Midland are reporting disruption between Bletchley and Watford Junction. That's because of a signalling problem. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Sammy.
Across beds, cards and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8:30. I'm Simon Oxley. A man has been arrested on suspicion of murder after a woman's body was found in a Buckinghamshire lay-by. The discovery was made just after 8:30 yesterday morning by a passing motorist in the lay-by on the A413 Amersham Road in Gerrards Cross. Security checks are being stepped up on both sides of the channel after a strike by French ferry workers yesterday led to police battling migrants in Calais on the roads leading to the Channel Tunnel. Ferry and Eurostar services are getting back to normal after thousands of passengers were affected by the disruption. And Luton's Muslim community held an emergency meeting last night to discuss plans for a march by the far-right group Britain First on Saturday. Bedfordshire Police have imposed restrictions on the march and are looking to extend these with a High Court injunction on Friday.
Three Counties Sport.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
England's cricketers beat New Zealand by 56 runs in the one-off 2020 international at Old Trafford last night. England made 191 for 7 and then bowled out the tourists for 135. Joe Root top scored with 68.
It's just the way that everyone's thrown themselves into this brand or style, but everyone's just committed themselves up 100% to the team, gone for it, and the guys that have come in have done exceptionally well. They set the tone up front, Alex and Jason. Then Morgie's played out of his skin throughout the whole series, and it's made a massive difference. We've made big partnerships, we scored at a good rate as well, and the way we're playing at the minute is something that we want to keep developing, keep improving and becoming more consistent at.
In football, Liverpool have signed Brazil and Hoffenheim forward Roberto Firmino for £29 million. Watford have moved their home friendly against Sevilla to Friday night, July the 31st, from Saturday, August the 1st. And victory for England's under-21s tonight against Italy will put them into the last 4 of the European Championships. Stevenage swimmer Martin Walton is celebrating after winning a gold medal at the European Games in Baku yesterday. The 17-year-old, who's from Hatfield Swimming Club, raced the second leg of the 4x100 metres freestyle relay. Hatfield swimming head coach Iain Wright says it's down to dedication.
You can't do that without a lot of hard work and dedication as well. I mean, he swims 9 times a week with us, talking of about 18 hours in the water a week, plus 3 or 4 hours in the gym on top of that, and he's been doing that for several years.
BBC Three Counties News and Sports. The next full bulletin is at 9.
This is Iain Lee
on BBC Three Counties Radio.
OK, so how did this come about, Catherine? And we'll just go straight into it.
Last night I was... the night before last.
Which night was it, woman?
Night
Already
before
poking,
last.
poking holes in this
Hang
story.
on.
Tissue story.
The night before last, I was on Twitter when I should have been asleep, and your mate, the Monkeys' mate, Andrea from America,
Oh, yeah, lovely Andrea. Yeah, Andrea
retweeted Owen Elliott's tweet about finally her mum had got a star in the Hollywood Walk of Fame. It's been announced that she's going to be in this sort of class of 2015.
Owen Elliott, Mama Cass's daughter, of course.
I mean, Mama Cass died at the age of 33, like 41 years ago almost.
Yeah.
So it's been a long time coming. So I tweeted something to that effect because, you know, we love Mama Cass on this programme.
Yep.
We absolutely love her. And my kids love her as well. They're obsessed with her. So I tweeted something to that effect and she kept sort of tweeting back. And in the end, I thought, I'm going to send her a cheeky direct message and ask whether she'll come on.
If you want the song, you've got to get into it quick.
And she said yes.
And this is what happened. Owen, it's genuinely an honour to speak to you. We are very, very big fans of your mum here on this show, and we're constantly kind of digging out Cass Elliot tunes from her back catalogue. The thing that frustrates me about your mum is that her solo albums they sort of manage to sneak away without people being that aware of them in some instances.
Yeah, you're right. That's largely the catalog, the RCA catalog. Really, the post Mamas and Papas.
Yeah,
my mother had a couple of records that came out that were successful in the solo way. Make your own kind of music. It's getting better, but there were definitely some great records towards the end of her career that. Yeah, they've been swept under the rug. One in particular that she made in London.
Now, which one was that? Was that wasn't that was the Cass Elliot album, wasn't it?
No, it was The Road Is No Place for a Lady.
Ah, yeah. She made it. And it's odd because they were really hard to track down on CD, and I've managed to track them down. And they're brilliant. And I can't understand why they're not, kind of regarded as classic albums.
Oh, you're breaking my heart. Yeah, that's how I feel about it too. But the record company that she made those records for, RCA, which is now BMG, they don't see the commercial value in those records, so they never did anything with them.
They don't see the treasure they're sitting on. And if anyone wants to, and also the Don't Call Me Mama Anymore, the live album,
yes,
that's just a joy, isn't it? And it kind of it highlights A, that she was an amazing singer, and B, that she was just so funny and relaxed, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was, and she really came into her own towards the latter part of her career, and yeah, and what I like about those records, about those last three records in particular that she made, was that when she finally made the break away from Dunhill Records, which was the label that the Mamas and Papas had recorded for, and that she had recorded for subsequently her first couple of records. When she finished that contract and she went on to a contract of her very own with RCA, she was able to finally choose music that she really wanted to sing.
Oh, and she was going towards more of a Broadway feel, wasn't she, towards the end?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's really where she started, if you want to know the truth. I mean, really, the truth is that my mother went to New York City when she was 19 to become a star on Broadway.
Isn't it true she went up against Barbra Streisand at one point for a part?
She did. They auditioned for the same part in I Can Get It For You Wholesale, which
hard job for that
Barbra
producer.
got.
Yeah. What a hard job to choose between those two.
You're celebrating this week because she's finally got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Well, she will be getting the star on the Walk of Fame. They announced the class of 2016, if you will.
Right, okay.
The next batch of stars that will be honored within that year.
Now, why is
this one of them?
Why is this so important to you?
It's important to me because long after my time on this planet has expired, her name is still going to be on a star on Hollywood Boulevard.
Yeah.
And for, God willing, hundreds of years to come. And my fantasy is that one day a small child might be walking with his parents on that street, and he might happen upon her star and wonder who she was.
Yeah.
And maybe then he'll discover her. maybe that's how the legacy lives on. So
Catherine's kids love
They're obsessed.
Cass Elliot.
They're obsessed with her. In fact, at one point, my 3-year-old said she wanted to be her when she grew up. And she wanted an outfit. And we had to cobble one together. I mean, she just loves her.
Oh, that is killing me. I love that. I love that. Well, you know, my mother had a very special place in her heart for the United Kingdom, and you do know that she passed away there.
Yeah, of course.
But she did spend a lot of time there as well, and like I said, that record, The Road, was made at Trident Studios right there. And I remember being brought along for that trip. That's the only time I've ever had a passport in my entire life, was to make that journey at the age of 5.
Oh, you Americans and your lack of passports, for goodness sakes. There are other countries in the world, Owen.
Well, you know, I'm a tourist. I like to stay on the ground. I like to remain.
I get that. Your mum was. You were 7 when Cass passed away. Is that right?
That is.
How much? I mean, well, 7's quite. You know, is an. How much do you remember of Cass Elliot, the superstar? You say you went to some recording sessions. What else do you remember?
I remember being at, you remember things through a child's eye, right?
Yeah.
I remember going to, you mentioned the last record, the live record. That record was recorded live at Mr. Kelly's in Chicago. And I remember being at a few of those shows, but my memory of being at those shows was actually just being very upset that I was not allowed to bring my Jell-O from the backstage to the audience. Like, that was really where my mindset was. So,
but Jell-O's good. I mean, I can completely understand that.
Delicious.
But you were hanging out with. I mean, she had a lot of famous friends. One of the stories is that she brought Crosby, Stills, and Nash together. It's disputed in some areas, but you were surrounded by rock stars when you were growing up.
Yeah, absolutely, and the level in which she was instrumental in getting Crosby, Stills, and Nash together is the only fact that's disputed. She is absolutely the person who put that group in touch with each other.
Yeah.
Where it happened is always the question.
That's the disputed bit, isn't it? Was it her back garden? Was it? But she wasn't. She was looking after. She was such an Anglophile that when the Hollies came over, she was looking after Graham Nash. She kind of took him under her wing, and then she said, "Oh, you must meet my friends Stephen Stills and David Crosby."
Exactly. That's exactly what happened. And Graham is a gentleman beyond being a gentleman.
Yeah.
I mean, he really is. And to this day, every time I see him, couldn't be more lovely than he is. Like,
Can I just say,
really.
I love the way you say Graham, as opposed to the Graham, the British Graham.
Well, I'm an American.
I know. I love it. I love it.
An American with a Welsh first name. Like, what's that about?
What
right?
are you doing, Owen? Because I know that you sing and you kind of look after Mum's estate. What are you doing?
What am I doing? I'm raising 2 teenagers.
Oh, man.
That'll do it.
Yeah, I know. I have a 16-year-old daughter who looks more like my mother than I do.
Gosh.
Yeah, I know. And a 13-year-old son, and a wonderful husband, and a little sausage dog.
And they must be, maybe not the sausage dog so much, but they must be so proud of, they must be aware of their grand's legacy.
They are beginning to become of it. I think, when something grows up, when you grow up with something as your normal every day, it's hard to put it into perspective, It's what you know to be your everyday life. And my daughter, I think, is starting to get it a little bit.
Yeah.
My son a little bit less, maybe.
What does it say on the star? Because if you've noticed, we are doing our best not to say Mama Cass, because she kind of... Oh, am I right? After the Mamas and the Papas, she was desperately trying to ditch the Mama label that had been foisted on her.
Yeah, she was, and that is something that I actually went back and forth about a great deal. And I know that she definitely was trying to ditch that moniker.
Don't Call Me Mama Anymore, of course, is the song.
But unfortunately, she passed before she was able to completely successfully move past that. And more people than not identify her as Mama Cass. And for that reason, I felt it was important. And the mama will be in quotes.
Okay,
Right.
good. All right.
But you know
It
what?
will be in quotes.
There's an affection in that, though, isn't there? There is an affection in calling her Mama Cass.
I think so, and it's odd because I've fallen into a habit of when I call my girlfriends, and some of them, are other children of the mamas and papas, and usually when I greet them, we've fallen into "Hi, Mama, how you doing?" And it's a little bit more than weird, but. It feels good.
Owen, listen, I'm going to let you go because if you've got those young children or those teenagers, you must be shattered. I am. You can hear me flicking away through my iPod. I think, pretty much every song. I've not got that many mamas and papas actually, but certainly every solo song that your mum recorded. Pick a song. Any song that you want doesn't have to be one of the famous ones. Can be one of the more obscure ones, and we will play it. And we shall all raise a glass of something or a cup of tea to Cass Elliot.
Okay, how about "Listen to the World"?
You got it, Owen. We'll play it.
Okay, perfect.
Hey, listen, thank you so much. It's such an honour to talk to you. Honestly, we're constant. We only recently, about 6 months ago, discovered the Dave Mason.
Oh my goodness,
album.
I love that album.
And we've all got it on vinyl. We've all got it on CD, and we're constantly trying to play tracks from it on the show. So,
well, you all have fantastic taste. If I don't say so myself.
Hey, listen, congratulations. Well done on all the hard work, and maybe we'll speak again soon.
Thank you so much. Have a nice day, you guys.
Thank you very much, Tata. Have a nice day. Wasn't she absolutely delightful? We'll play that song that she requested in a little bit. I've got to do this, though, first.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There are severe delays on the M25 anti-clockwise of 2 hours between junction 19 for Watford to 15 for the M4 because of a van fire earlier. It's also slow in the other opposite direction as 45-minute delays from junction 12 for the M3 towards junction 16 for the M40. And on the approach on the M40, it's also looking very slow from junction 2 for Beaconsfield towards the M25. The A404 southbound in High Wycombe also now has delays between the High Wycombe Handycross roundabout and the Bisham roundabout, possibly with people trying to avoid those problems on the M25 and the M40. The M25 clockwise has a lane closed between junction 24 for Potters Bar and 25 for Enfield as well, which is causing some slight delays clockwise. And on the trains, London Midland have delays between Bletchley and Watford Junction because of a signalling problem. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Sammy, thank you very much. A lot to cram in. We've got a Sir Lemworth Hemworth story, a Mama Cass song, and Justin Daly. We can do it, guys. These are your headlines. A man has been arrested on suspicion of murder after a woman's body was found in Buckinghamshire, in a Buckinghamshire lay-by. Ferry and Eurostar services are getting back to normal after thousands of passengers were affected by yesterday's disruption in Calais. Here's Kate with the weather.
Beds, hearts and bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There is some cloud at first this morning, but it is thinning and breaking the whole time. We'll get some nice sunny spells today, and it's feeling warm. It's not a northwesterly flow. That's switched around overnight to when it's now coming from the southwest. So it is going to feel more humid, slightly more pleasant than it has done. Temperatures up to 22, possibly even 23 Celsius in the sunshine later. Sunsets at 21, 25. Overnight some cloud, but we'll get some breaks in it. Minimum temperature mild at 12 Celsius. Sunrises at 04, 43. Another pleasant day tomorrow. Sunny spells, dry, bright, feeling warm. Maximum temperature for Thursday, 22 Celsius. That's your forecast.
And this is what it's all about. Oh, no, it's not. Hang on a second. Here we go. There we go.
Chinese isn't slow enough. Russian, we don't know
Oh, man. It's National Cass Elliot Day in my house, I can tell you that. Well done, Catherine, for sorting that out. That was a joy.
I think I'll share your National Cass Elliot Day today.
Wasn't she delightful?
Great.
Wasn't she delightful? Well done her for working so hard on her mum's behalf. Right, we've been asking for your stories about Sir Lenworth Hemworth, Sir Lenny Henry. Damon, I believe... Have you worked with Sir Lenworth?
I did work with Sir Lenworth back in 1998, Happy Days.
That was when he was in Happy Days?
No, they were Happy Days.
That was just when he was plain old Delbert Wilkins.
He was several people at the time, I think.
What? Give us your story. Give us your Sir Lenworth Hemworth.
Well, do you remember the smash hit Sir Lenworth TV series Lenny Goes to Town? Do you remember?
Was that the one where he was
with Lenny in it?
Was that the one where he was a chef?
No, you were very close. Sir Lenworth would travel around the country and go to towns and bring joy and laughter to various
Theophilus
towns.
P. Wildebeest. Okay, right. Yeah. So, yes, he went, yeah.
I worked on the pilot of that series, which was called Lenny Goes Wild. Okay. And the idea was that every town that Lenny turned up in, he would adopt various characters and play hilarious pranks on members of the public there.
Oh, crazy.
It literally was wild.
Yes.
So we went to Northampton for the pilot and had great japes there. But he had to spend a long time in makeup every day, making him transform from just plain old Lenny into slightly disguised Lenny. Yeah. So one morning he'd spent like 3 hours in makeup, and he was a bit of a grumplepuss first thing in the morning, and 2 hours in makeup. And he sent me off to get him a lovely cup of coffee to keep him going.
Yeah. And he was, of course, a trendsetter then, because we weren't really a coffee-drinking nation in those days.
No, we weren't. And in fact, I had to go to the fish and chip shop to get a cup of coffee.
Wow.
So there were no coffee shops around. So being young and keen, I ran off to get the coffee because we were massively running behind time. Yeah. And everyone was getting very angsty about Lenny taking so long in makeup. Yeah. Anyway, to cut a long story short...
Too late for that.
Too late for that now. Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's always my favourite line when someone says that. It's normally after that. It's normally some old woman phoning into a health phone-in on LBC, and you're thinking, you should have done that 10 minutes ago, love. Go on, sorry, David.
So I'm running back from the chip shop with my boiling hot cup of coffee in a styrofoam cup, because that was takeaway then, and he walks out of makeup, and we clashed in the most spectacular way. And I threw my coffee all over him from head to toe.
Oh, no.
And he was so angry. I mean, he literally was. Lenny went wild in Northampton.
There is still time. I don't know if you've got the Queen's address. It's 1 London. You can write to her, and she can. There is still time to cancel the sirhood.
Well, to be fair to him, he was so cross, but so wet and so covered in coffee, and everyone was laughing so much, apart from me, who was utterly mortified, that he eventually did see the funny side of it, and I just never bought him another cup of coffee after that.
And never.
We remain very, very close friends to this day.
When was the last time you spoke to Sir Lenworth?
1997.
Thanks very much for calling, Damon.
It's a pleasure.
Nice to talk to you. Ta-ta. Thank you for having me. What a gentleman. Hey, we're getting it all today. We've had Mama Cass's daughter and a bloke that's poured coffee over Sir Lenworth Hemworth, Justin.
I know, it's all going on today.
This really is the show of shows. Happy 30th birthday.
Yeah, I know, to BBC Three Counties Radio, formerly known, of course, as BBC Radio Bedfordshire.
I wasn't saying it to you, mate. You're about 20 years older than that.
Yeah, all right, mate. Chill out. Just calm yourself down, all right?
It's great to hear your voice, Matt. I really missed you this morning, Just.
I've missed you too, brother.
You're back in Lutz. What was it like? What was the vibe like?
Oh, the vibe was very, very strong. I have to say, I've been on the streets of many places in Beds, Herts and Bucks and beyond. Last year, of course, we even took it to the beach in Barbados. The streets of Luton, there is something very, very special about those streets. You see things in Luton you don't see anywhere else on this planet.
A lot of VFs there. You've taken 2 things for us, Justin. The first one is, you're a fan of the skinny jean. You're an idiot.
What?
There is medical evidence that it's bad for you. It's bad. Do you want to have a little baby, Justin?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Well, then loosen up the baggage. Let the boys run free.
Some of the papers today saying that skinny jeans should come with a health warning. I've been on the streets asking people about skinny jeans, if they do wear them, are they feeling ill, but also people's thoughts on skinny jeans. Some people here get very, very offensive. Here's what the streets of Luton had had to say about skinny jeans. Tyler, do you believe the hype? As somebody who's wearing skinny jeans, do you feel unwell? Have you noticed a difference in your health because of the jeans you're wearing?
No, I think it's a little rubbish, really. It's just looking good, isn't it? Feel confident in yourself.
All about looking good,
yeah,
innit?
Exactly, yeah.
Men who wear what? Skinny jeans.
What do you think about them, sir?
It might be maybe they are gays.
Hang on. You think men who wear skinny jeans are gay?
Yeah.
That's a massive stereotype.
That's how I see it. It's meant for women.
Are you homophobic?
No.
Lawrence, what do you think about men who wear skinny jeans?
Well, he's just trying to make a fashion statement.
Got no time for them?
No, not really, no. I've heard they're uncomfortable to wear.
Well, they can be.
You get what they call skinny burn, whereby your legs, get all red.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'll wear them myself. I'll keep an eye out for skinny burn. Thanks for your time, Lawrence.
Yeah, thanks.
Ellie Ash, let's get the Polish perspective. What do you think about men who wear skinny jeans?
I believe they are not good looking, and I believe it is not healthy.
So is that why you wouldn't wear skinny jeans? Because you believe they're not healthy to wear?
First of all, secondly, I don't believe men should.
Why?
Let's leave it to girls.
I didn't realise that you idiots that wear the skinny jeans that you faced such prejudice on. This is like the last taboo. We can't be rude about gingers. We certainly can't be rude about gypsies now, which is great. We can't be rude about any sexuality or any ethnicity, which is great. I didn't know you guys were still getting it in the neck for wearing your skinny jeans.
No, we do, from idiots like you who just unfortunately can't see fashion.
I can see fashion, mate, and I can also see chicken legs wrapped up in cling film. Now, listen, we've had an interesting conversation as well today about the creation of Stonehenge. My boy was doing a little project and he built a lovely little Stonehenge out of Lego, and I was kind of investigating it. 5,000 years old. The rocks come from 200 miles away. They didn't have the M4 then, or the A303 or the A506 or whatever flipping road it is.
Yep.
So how did they get it? My theory is, Justin, that gravity was just that little bit lighter 5,000 years ago.
My theory is it's magic.
Well, it's been a great show. Did you take it to the streets?
Yes, I took it to the streets of Luton. Again, some bizarre theories. Here's what happened, boss. Let's get the Greek perspective. Your Stonehenge theory. How do you think the stones got there?
They used a mechanism related to leather.
Yeah, Romans probably dragged them there with horses.
Romans dragged them there with horses. Thanks for your time, boss.
No worries, take care.
What's your Stonehenge theory?
I don't know, people put them there.
So, what's your Stonehenge theory?
That they were moved around many years ago by unknown beings from the sky.
Here we go.
Aliens?
Possibly, yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah, come on. You think of where those stones came from. They came from hundreds and miles away.
Yeah.
They didn't have the tools or equipment that we do now.
Yep.
We spend years making structures and buildings.
Yep.
It's just impossible the way how mankind could have possibly moved them.
I don't know. Maybe someone built it.
Maybe someone built it. Well, he's got that. The last two gentlemen sounded like professors.
Yes, they did. It's amazing who you meet. But aliens was the best answer that we came up with this morning.
And why not? Why not? Why not?
Well, the thing is, you say, OK, it's aliens, and somebody goes, oh, that's absolute rubbish. Well, I'll tell you what, then you try and prove it wasn't aliens, because it can never be proved. So it could be absolutely anything.
They have found, Justin, I remembered why we started this story now, and you'll come back to me. They found a pyramid on Mars. A pyramid on Mars.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Justin, good stuff.
Thank you.
You in tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm in what? I'm in now. I'm in tomorrow. I'm in all week. I'm in on Saturday. Yeah, I'm a 6-day-a-week man.
Thanks very much.
Cheers, bye.
Ta-ta. He confuses me sometime with his lingo. We got time for a couple of quick texts, Catherine. Have we got
let's
any?
Have a little look. Yeah, we
While
have.
you're trying to find it, I'll play this.
Well, he's just trying to make a fashion statement.
There we go.
Okay. Tony says Andrew Stone ideas for pilots for him. Josh Stone. Andrew tells classic jokes. Stone's ginger wine. Andrew gets ginger celebrities on his show to whinge about their lives.
Oh, I like that
But
one.
Stone's ginger wine isn't a thing, is it? Or is that a make of ginger wine? I don't know.
It's just such a confusing world we live in.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There are 2-hour delays on the M25 anti-clockwise from junction 19 for Watford towards junction 15 for the M4 after a van fire earlier. There's still a lane closed there, and it's also causing queues clockwise approaching junction 16 for the M40 all the way from junction 9 for Leatherhead. On the M40 towards the M25 there are delays from Beaconsfield, and also in High Wycombe the A404 is slow from the High Wycombe Handycross roundabout to the Bisham roundabout. Elsewhere in Luton on the A505 it's busy between Hitchin Road and Crawley Green Road. On the train Southern have hour and 15-minute delays between Bletchley and Watford Junction because of a signalling problem, and that's also affecting London Midland trains. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Samantha. Thank you, Ollie. Thank you, Giza. And thank you, Justin.
Oh,
what?
I'm the geezer in this scenario.
Have we not?
We need to talk.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Iain. Good morning. Welcome to the JVS show. I'm Jonathan Vernon Smith. It's Wednesday, it's 9 o'clock, and on today's Big Phone In, how much sympathy do you have for the migrants in Calais desperate to reach the UK? Border security is being stepped up in northern France and Dover as hundreds of migrants try to smuggle themselves into the UK. Striking French ferry workers have blocked the Channel Tunnel with burning tyres, and migrants are taking advantage of the stationary traffic to sneak into the back of lorries bound for England. An estimated 3,000 migrants are living rough in Calais, and last year our government pledged £12 million to help the French get control of the situation. Conservative MP for South Thanet, Craig McKinley, has told the BBC the British government is trying to stabilise countries from which migrants are fleeing, and it wouldn't be fair to the migrants to become Britain's problem. Well, this morning I want to hear from you. How much sympathy do you have for the migrants in Calais desperate to reach the UK? Pick up that phone, come on and have your say on 03459 455 555.
This is the JVS show
on BBC Three Counties Radio.
So I'll take your call in just a second, but first let's get the latest BBC News at 9:01. Here's Simon Oxley.
The headlines: man arrested after woman's body found in Buckinghamshire lay-by. Security checks stepped up on both sides of the channel, and Muslim community condemn Luton march.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
A man has been arrested on suspicion of murder after a woman's body was found in a Buckinghamshire lay-by. The discovery was made just after 8:30 yesterday morning by a passing motorist in the lay-by on the A413 Amersham Road in Gerrards Cross. Thames Valley Police say a 50-year-old man from Hayes in Middlesex has been arrested. The body of the woman has yet to be identified. A post-mortem examination is due to take place today. Superintendent Yvette Hitch is the police commander for Chiltern and South Bucks.
I understand that local residents may be concerned about the events that have taken place. I'd like to reassure them that we've got police patrols in the area and they're available to be spoken to, and will be conducting house-to-house inquiries. If anyone has any information relating to this incident, they can contact Thames Valley Police on 101